Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but you're very nasty. You gave it away. Nasty! You said it from cash. I gave you some satisfaction. Merry Christmas!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fine Program Special Holiday Edition. That was courtesy of, I don't know, the folks who invented karaoke. I think that's what they meant it for. That's what was intended. That's what it was. From the moment it was birthed, that's what it was meant for. That was it, right there. We reached the pinnacle, right there. I hope you all have been enjoying your holidays. Whether you're celebrating Christmas, celebrating Hanukkah. That's it. There's no other holidays. That's it. If you're celebrating either of those holidays, I hope that you've been enjoying your holiday. There is no other holiday that I can think of. Anyway, I gotta tell you, it's Christmas. Nothing happened today. I spent the last 3 hours just bemoaning to Lady Lawgic. I was like, nothing happened. Nothing had. Someone got stabbed. I don't really tend to talk about stabbings. They got stabbed in the New York City subway, and the only thing I can say on that is God should strike down Kathy Hochul, AOC, and all these Democrats who basically have beaten the ever-living pulp out of the Good Samaritan vibe from every New Yorker, because you're crazy. If you're a white person and you try rescuing someone. So basically, all those folks, frankly, if you're black, you're probably okay. You're probably all right. I mean, they probably won't charge you. If you're Latino or Asian, I wouldn't chance it. So there you go. Thank you, BLM. Thank you, AOC. Thank you, all the lunatics who said we need to prosecute Daniel Penny. All the lunatics. Frankly, no. You know what? I'm taking it back. I'm going to take out the Asians. I'm going to take out the Latinos, because we saw a bodega owner get charged when he was attacked and defended himself. So yeah, basically New York City is a chaos clusterfart. It's a chaotic clusterfart. That's the only way to describe it. So yeah, they can basically suck it, because they made New York unlivable. It is unlivable. She has implemented their $9 fee for going through Midtown Manhattan, in addition to the ridiculously overpriced tolls. They have their whole claustrophobia, whatever stupid congestion fee that they hit you with, that during anticipated periods of high congestion, they're raising the normal $9 fee to $11.25. So that's Kathy Hochul right there for you. That's her. And if you wonder why is she like this, what is wrong with this woman? Some people say Bell's palsy. Some people say she's overly jabbed. I don't know. You look at this video, this woman does not look well. She does not look well. They even title it, "What the hell is wrong with your face, Kathy?" What the hell is... Look at this video and tell me that this is a person who should be running a state.
Hi, everyone. Kathy Hochul is reminding everyone.
She can't even open her left eye. She cannot open her left eye. What the heck is going on?
Time to get that COVID shot. I know a lot of us want to forget about COVID. We all know somebody who's contracted it and not feeling good these days. So here's how we prevent it.
This is a parody. This is a parody. There's no other term for this. This is a parody. I mean, look at this woman saying you need to get And I'm not a doctor. You need to talk to your doctor about how to stay safe from anything. I'm not giving any medical advice. There's no medical advice here. Nothing about medical advice. Medical advice is basically meant for just people who wear stethoscopes and lab coats and are able to overcharge you for or your insurance carrier. Those are the folks who are the only ones who should ever give you medical advice. Don't listen to me or Kathy Hochul for that point, because she ain't no freaking doctor. I'm not talking about any medications. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm simply saying this woman does not look well. This woman should not be a spokesperson for any type of medical treatment whatsoever, just given the fact that she looks as if there's something seriously, dementedly wrong with her. This is like you almost don't want to make fun of her because you're like, oh, I would never make fun of like an actual retarded person. So why would I make fun of her? And it's just that this is self-inflicted retardation. There's no other. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what happened to her face. What happened to your face, Kathy Hochul? What happened to it? I don't even understand. Look at her face.
Hochul is reminding everyone it's time to get that COVID shot. I know a lot of us want to forget about COVID, but we all know somebody who's contracted.
I don't know if she got conjunctivitis and her eye won't open. I don't know if she got like lazy eye, and her version of lazy eye is that her eyelid just basically remains clamped shut. I don't know if she's a victim of some crazy person in New York who decided to, I don't know, throw glue in her face and her eyelid got stuck shut. I have no idea what the hell Kathy Hochul's problem is. There's obviously there's probably a list that's like yay long as far as what the heck is wrong with Kathy Hochul, but this is not a well person. This is not a person. I wouldn't take advice if she told me that a person on fire should get water thrown on top. I'd be like, I don't know. I gotta get second opinion on that. This woman should not be advising or governing anything. She cannot even govern her own mental health. And she's the one who's dictating policy for the entire friggin' state of New York. That's Kathy Hochul right there. That's Kathy Hochul. My God. Look at her.
Contracted it and not feeling good these days. So here's how we prevent it. Just stop by your local drugstore, your pharmacy, your own provider. Get the shot now. Every year you should be thinking about getting that. It doesn't take any time at all.
Look at how wide open that eye gets, and the other one never opens. Look at that. Look, what is is she winking at me? Is she? I don't know what's happening here. This does not look like a human creature. This is like bad AI. This is like, I don't know what's happening here. Did she get beaten up for basically mouthing off to the wrong woman or something? I don't know what happened here. I don't know what happened. Oh my God.
At all.
Just like, let me talk about.
I can't even. I'm gonna look at this one more time. Just because I'm trying to figure. I can't even imagine what's going on here. I don't know what's happening.
Hi, everyone. Kathy Hochul is reminding everyone it's time to get that COVID shot. I know a lot of us want to forget about COVID, but we all know somebody who's contracted it.
This is terrible. This is a disaster. And no one from her PR team said, maybe we should keep your face out of public. Like, you would think that would be a plan. Okay, so here's our strategy going forward, Kathy. Everything that's around this part of you, we're going to just keep off camera, basically until we get through the next election cycle, whenever the hell that is. Because this that's going on here, no. That's what she needs. She needs someone who's actually blunt enough, frank enough with her to say you are a walking disaster zone. That's what you are. That's what you are. My God. Weird. Another thing I'm going to say, like, that shirt is tighter than anything Pete Hegseth ever wore. That's like, what's happening here? What's happening? Can you be respectable? Disgusting. This woman. Everything about her is disgusting. And she made New York a far worse place to live. I don't even want to visit. I don't want to have anything to do with them because of her. I don't have anything to do with that. I thought it was bad under Cuomo. I was like, I thought it was. I'm not going to kid you. I thought it was bad on the Bloomberg. All right, Bloomberg is the most overhyped mayor ever. De Blasio, oh my God. And I know I'm jumping from talking about the mayor to talking about the governor. Frankly, the last guy who was like any good at all was that blind dude. That's the last New York leader who was any good at all. Eric Adams might be okay. I actually think he probably is better. He's probably the best mayor that they've had since Giuliani. What a disaster. Oh my God. Terrible. It's terrible stuff. All right. And a happy Festivus. It's a Festivus for the rest of us. I got a whole bunch of people who joined the following. It's celebrating Christmas. A whole bunch of people that in celebration have been brought into the following. Look at Joe Stew. Joe Stew hitting with the 20 new members of the following. Oh my God. Who'd you bring into the following? We got Raw Set, Mo Harrison, Arkansas Labs, regular here, Proxy Loxy, 82, regular here. Kathy Shanette, another regular. LB, another Will H, Phoenix, Jimmy James, Moom 3MA, Salty Dog 78, Blissful Squirrel, Liz Yaw, Twisted Tragedy, Nurse Cindy, Joe Holland. Nurse Cindy, by the way, if you can find it in your schedule to get out to Kathy Hochul, that video is like an SOS. It's like a beacon. That should be like a bat signal. Like, I need medical attention. So I don't know how close you are to the New York region, Nurse Cindy, but as a member of the following and efforts to try and make the world a better place, I'm telling you right now, I look at this. I look at this thing right here, and all I can say is this is a cry for help. This is a cry for help. Something. So whatever you can do, Nurse Cindy, whatever you can do on this, I'm just saying, just consider it. Just consider it, because Kathy need help. Kathy need help. Kathy need help. Kathy need help. I don't know how it is that I got Elvises everywhere just in my head right there. All right, who else did we got brought in here? Courtesy of Joe Stew here. Who else did you bring us? So I think we got Nurse Cindy. We definitely got. She's definitely a follower now. We also got Joe Holland, Night Owl, Scorpion, Jay Cares, and Janet Burris. All of them gifted memberships into the following, courtesy of Joe Stew. God bless you, Joe Stew. I'll give you one of these. I was like, hey, this is the holiday. Why would anyone be skimpy with the war horn? And there's one or two people out there I should mention who complain about the war horn and say, Joe, can you stop with the war? Can you stop? No, don't even bother asking. And every time I see one of those messages, I'm going to hit it 3 more times the next day. Don't even bother asking. Don't even bother. No, the war horn is an integral part of the show. It's an integral part of it. That's like the NYPD hat. That's like the glasses. That's like the two-tone beard, which frankly, let's face it, probably like 10, 20 years from now, it's probably not going to be two-tone. But yeah, this is an integral part of this show. It's not going nowhere. It's not. I'm sorry. So you can just stop asking. I look at that, I'm like, really? You really think no, that's not going anywhere. Anyway, so those are brought to the following. I appreciate if you can just thank Joe Stew for that because of his kind courtesy that he bestowed upon you and brought you into the following. The following is a gathering of like-minded individuals who are all supportive and looking for greater personal growth. And if you can just express that gratitude, Joe Stew, I would be much obliged to you. It reflects on you more than anyone else. It reflects on you. Another 10 gifts courtesy of Master Phillips. Hey, hear the war? Yeah, I hear it too. Courtesy of King of Recruitment, Master Phillips, bringing in Kieran Thacker, Mike Ladd, Balian, Brenda Hicklin Wonder, Jenna B, Long Live Liberty, and Tiffany B, as well as Angie Torres and Lil Bitsy. Welcome to the following. The following, which is not at all a cult type of cult, and I am not not the leader of the following. There was a whole back and forth I saw in the comments on yesterday's show about the whole not. You guys are confused. I set that straight. I said it straight on in the replies there for those of you who are modestly confused about that. Clearly you were. Lady AR, God bless you. Thank you so much for the $10 bestowment. The $10 season's greetings. We did it, Joe. Chag Sameach. May your Hanukkah this year be clarifying like a candle in the darkness. With the MAGA win, it's hard to remember that light blinds too. May we keep our eyes open too. Both eyes. Unlike Kathy Hochul, who definitely cannot. Oh, is this what you're trying to say? You're saying she's blinded? You're saying she's revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night? That's what you're trying to explain this for Kathy Hochul? That's what you're trying to say? You're saying she's go-kart Mozart, checking out the weather charts, see if it's safe outside? Is that what you're trying to say? Because I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. And if it is, I don't care. I don't care. You know, it's not that hard. You got your cameraman there. You sort of shoot from a different angle. So if she's so totted that she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna send this out. This looks right. This looks right." There's still something freaking wrong with her. Okay. So yeah, sir. So I don't care about little curly whirly. I don't care if she's revved up like a deuce. No, she's not another runner in the night. She's just an idiot, or just got some sort of palsy thing going on there. I read between the lines there. Went to Chabad Menorah Lang in Detroit. It'd be nice to go to a Jewish event where they don't thank every donor and gvir for an hour. That would be nice. That would be. What happened to her face? She just got vaccinated. Remember that comedian that cracked her skull on stage in 2021? No, I don't. It's a bit. I don't think it's bad Botox. And if it is, just don't put your face on camera. Just do a voice recording. You know, you almost never see Susan Waldman. There are good reasons for that. This is why we called her Plastic Kathy. That's why. That's the reason. Not her stupid empty platitude messaging, but that's the reason. Because she basically looks like one of those $3 dolls that you find in some vintage store that one eye just got stuck like when she looking when they're laying down, that both eyes are closed, and when you raise it, like one eye gets stuck. Because that's why I think they call her Plastic Cat, because they're basically like, that's a much better explanation for why she would be called Plastic Kathy. And then you're like, no, open. Oh, no, get it open. Something's wrong. Turn up a blind eye to big. See, if I was having a contest tonight for like make Joe laugh, this comment right here, this would be like in the running. I've done that in the past. I haven't done it in a year. Maybe I'll do it for New Year's. Should I do it for New Year's? Did this thing where I was like, because I don't like someone telling me a joke. I like someone seeing the dialogue and just throwing in like in the middle of the dialogue something that blends in with a nice sharp zing. That's what I like a lot more. When I've done in the past, in case you knew the show, I've done in the past this thing where I'd be like, you send me a super chat and I will, the super chat that makes me laugh hardest, I will pay them 10 times what they spent on the super chat. I usually will cap it like at $200, and so that's like, I call it the Make Joe Laugh episode. And invariably the thing that makes me laugh is something that actually flows with the course of the dialogue, not some people get up there and they'll be like, a rabbi, a priest, and a mullah are on a boat. That's never gonna win. Don't try that. This is great. I turned blind eye to 2025 is good stuff. I'm late. My tracksuit was in the dryer. It probably shrunk. Because we didn't use Drop Barracuda's guy who wanted to charge like $430 for a tracksuit or something. Fried over easy, Kathy. Hopefully, Slick Joe B will sign the bill to repeal WEP and GPO for Social Security recipients along all the sentences he's commuting. No, Nana. All he cares about right now is who can I set free? Free. There's something wrong with that dude. There's something really, really wrong with him. Something wrong with him. You know, it reminds me of speaking of, I had a whole bunch of videos I meant to share yesterday, and I didn't share them. And then I was going to share them during locals, and I said, remind me before I close out the show. No one reminded me, at least as far as I saw. It's possible someone reminded me I missed it, but I don't think that happened. So no one reminded me. But you brought this up as far as, like, Nana. You brought this up, Nana, as far as all the senses is commuting. And this ties into a clip that I had here. So we're going to segue on over there.
President Trump, as he winds down his last few weeks in office, is considering preemptive pardons for all his adult children, including his son-in-law, Jared. What a mess. More as we know.
What a mess.
Cue all the hand-wringing and gnashing of teeth today about a president using his power, his pardon power, his powers as president, to do something for a family member. Tell me more about how outraged we all are about President Biden's pardon for his son. President Trump, as he...
Loser. Thank you to the Defiant L's for putting that together. That was great. I should probably give you... I had one or two others I wanted to share with you.
Yet she loved you the great.
I'm very gun shy. Yesterday's show, you know how I was talking about how Tom McDonald never dings me with copyright? That clip that I showed last night got dinged not by Tom McDonald, but by Dean Martin's group, like the ghost of Dean Martin copyright claimed me for the music. For Let It Snow music. So I was like, are you kidding me? I had Beyonce copyright claiming me yesterday for background music that was going on. I had one copyright claim after another. I was at 4 a.m. I'm like, and when you want to remove a copyright claim, you have to like basically approve the removal and then process, and then it takes time to process, which is like 40 minutes. And they only let you do one at a time. And there was like 7 of them. I was like, this is insanity. And I thought I got them all. And then I looked like this evening and I was like, oh, it's still copyright. I'm like, there's another one. It was really bad. So I'm very gun shy about music that's going to get me claimed. And if this gets me claimed, I'm going to be very annoyed. It's only 11 seconds. But I thought this was so well done. And you really kind of need the music in the background.
So pack up your car, put a hand in your heart, say whatever you feel.
All right, you got the music part. Go look at why he's doing it. I thought that was a very cute joke. Very quick, very cute joke there. Working so hard for the IRS. And I'll share this too. Just let me clear out. Let me jettison the dilithium crystals and give everything to you here. Give everything I got. This was shared as the greatest 30 seconds in TV history. This is Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent in an interview. The dude is arguably the most based man in America.
To the people who believe it is a worthwhile vaccine and it is saving lives, are they just dead wrong? Are they been feed?
Not that he's a doctor and he doesn't have medical advice, but he's going to weigh in.
Fed a line from the federal government?
Tim, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the people that went ahead and got the jab. I speak their language. I would speak to them thusly. Bah, 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 bah. They understand that.
Well, so all these millions of people that got the shots, they're just stupid?
Yep.
To the people who...
Yep. I don't think that's true. Some people had to go to school or work or whatever, and they had no choice. I'm pushing boundaries here. This is, if you wonder why it is that this is the one area I get very touchy about, well, copyright claims also, but the area I get touchy about, and I do the whole disclaimer thing, it's because I've been dinged twice by YouTube, twice, for speaking out against certain laws that were requiring. First, I got a warning, and then I got a strike. Even though, like, I purposefully said I'm not giving medical advice, I'm not a doctor, but I got dinged twice for it in my YouTube career. So that's why I'm very sensitive to that particular issue. You sort of don't, you don't, when you get burnt over and over again, you kind of learn your lesson. I got one more cute thing to share with you. I think I'll save that one though. We'll save that one. Let's get into our topic for tonight. After I get to these two chats. I used to think it was my dryer shrinking my clothes. It was actually my fridge. See, that's not going to win. That's not. I'm going to do a poll. Should I do should I do a make Joe laugh thing? I'm going to do a poll. Those streams are fun. Let's do a poll. Start a poll. Should I do a make Joe laugh for New Year's or a regular show? I don't know. It would be like a 3 or 4 hour show. Usually I'll bring in guests. And I'm not going to ignore the ghetto any longer. Should I do it? Yes or no? What do you think, Rumble? What do you think? Should I do it? Yes or no? Well, Molten Salt is not happy with me. Jody's saying yes. Molten's saying yes. I'm getting a bunch of yeses. All right. All right. If Rumble, if the ghetto wants it, how can I say no to the ghetto? To hell with YouTube. To hell with YouTube. Their opinions don't matter. They don't matter. No. As it happens, they're at 87% yes also. So I guess it's probably going to be a go. Don't do jokes like Rabbi Peace and Muller on a boat. Noted. So a rabbi, monk, and a priest are on a boat. Yeah, that's not going to work. Up your game. Up your game. Up your game. Sometimes, from what I recall, if I was to like bring up the last time I did a make a Joe laugh thing, like in the end, like when I was like trying to figure out which ones should I had like a poll, like which one wins in this category. So, yeah. Sun Wukong, DM you a vid. It has music though. It's funny. It has music though. You're giving me music. What are you giving me music? I don't trust when I get music. Saying turn off the sound. Without sound, it's not a video. Yeah, I'm not gonna play a commercial without sound. That just doesn't seem to make sense. There was a Coke commercial that I almost shared, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be a problem. All right, let's get into our main topic here tonight, which is Trump looking to basically swallow up all of North America and make it just America. Am I saying it right? America. I feel like I'm not sufficiently American if I'm not sufficiently based if I don't pronounce it right. America. So, all right. These are the different things we got going on here. These are the different things we got going on here. First, we got Trump sending out his Christmas wish to everyone. This man is so awesome. I am so happy. I'm so happy he won. Merry Christmas to all, including to the wonderful soldiers of China who are lovingly but illegally operating the Panama Canal, where we lost 38,000 people in its building 110 years ago. Always making certain that the United States puts in billions of dollars in repair money, but we have absolutely nothing to say about anything. Also, to Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada. Referring to Prime Minister Trudeau as Governor Trudeau of Canada, whose citizens' taxes are far too high. But if Canada was to become our 51st state, their taxes would be cut by more than 60%. Their businesses would immediately double in size, and they would be militarily protected like no other country anywhere in the world. Likewise to the people of Greenland, which is needed by the United States for national security purposes, and who want the U.S. to be there. And we will. Oh, there's more. He's not done. There's more. Page 2. Merry Christmas to the radical left lunatics who are constantly trying to obstruct our court system and our elections and are always going after the great citizens and patriots in the United States, but in particular, their political opponent, me. They know that their only chance of survival is getting pardons from a man who has absolutely no idea what he is doing. Also, to the 37 most violent criminals who killed, raped, and plundered like virtually no one before them, but were just given incredibly a pardon by sleepy Joe Biden. I refuse to wish a Merry Christmas to those lucky souls, but instead will say, go to hell. We had the greatest election in the history of our country. A bright light is now shining over the United States of America. And in 26 days, we will make America great again. Merry Christmas from Donald Trump. He is the master. All hail Donald Trump. Oh my God. People I keep saying no, I don't idolize Donald Trump. This is hard to hold back on. This is hard to hold back on. This is so good. I feel like I'm one of those girls from the mini me thing with that Steve Carell thing, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. This is so good. Oh my God. Oh my God. How have we not had him around for the last 4 years? Whew. He's so much better when he's sitting in the catbird seat. When he's underneath, it's like it doesn't resonate quite as well. It's when he's in the catbird seat that is just like, and punching down. When he's punching down, that's when it's funny. When he's punching down. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Make bullying great again. I don't know what to tell you. Then we have this. Trump tells Wayne Gretzky to run for governor. They don't have governors in Canada presently, but if they became a state, they would have governors. And he says, I just left Wayne Gretzky, the great one, as he is known in ice hockey circles. I said, Wayne, why don't you run for Prime Minister of Canada, soon to be known as Governor of Canada? You would win easily. You wouldn't even have to campaign. He is an idol in Canada. And frankly, his dominance of hockey, if you're too young to know, his dominance of hockey was so insane. So insane. His skating technique was so fluid. No one ever landed a real hit on Wayne Gretzky in his entire career. And he just would score and score and score. It's like you take the next two high scorers in the NHL, and like their cumulative stats weren't Wayne Gretzky. Not exactly. That might be a mild exaggeration, but not much. He was crazy. You would win easily. You wouldn't even have to campaign. He had no interest. But I think the people of Canada should start a draft Wayne Gretzky movement. It would be so much fun to watch. Oh my God. Draft Wayne Gretzky. Draft Wayne Gretzky. There you go. There you go. So my thoughts on this are, my questions for you. I have the question for you. He keeps pushing this. Usually he'll let something go. When he keeps pushing on something, I think he really wants it. I'm starting to think he really wants it. He's not just trolling. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I'm starting to think he really wants it. Are you on board with this whole North America thing? I want to get your thoughts on it. This woman here, whose name nobody in America yet knows, but I assume a lot of people in Canada know her. Even Libs of TikTok, who shared this out, clearly doesn't know this woman's name, but she's some government leader standing in front of Canadian flags. Any of you who know the name, that would be very cool of you to throw it out there. Any of you who know the name? So this Canadian leader, at least presently she's a leader. It's hard to know if she would still be in leadership after Canada becomes our 51st state, because a lot of those positions are probably going to be sliced away. So the question, so her thoughts on the idea of America, of what Trump's talking about, making Canada America again.
Trump on his Truth Social this morning greeted the Prime Minister as the governor of the 51st state, something along that line. Have you seen that? Do you have any thoughts about that? About the dynamics of the relationship?
I haven't seen that, but so I probably should comment. Just that with the Truth Social.
Oh, that would explain it. It's Canadian Liz Cheney. I don't. Maybe it's Canuck Cheney.
Post of Donald Trump planting a Canadian flag on a Canadian mountain. I have to say that to the extent that this 51st state thing was a joke, it's not funny.
Oh no, it's definitely funny. It's definitely funny, Melissa. I don't know if your real name is Melissa. Someone's speculating that's your name. I don't know. I get when I put in Melissa May. When I put in Melissa May, I get this. Yikes. So I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Elizabeth May? Elizabeth May. Oh, she's a member of the House of Commons. There we go. There we go. She's an MP from the Green Party. There you go. Ooh, she's not happy with the idea. From British Columbia. Talk to us, Lizzie.
Social post of Donald Trump planting a Canadian flag on a Canadian mountain. I have to say that to the extent that this 51st state thing was a joke, it's not funny.
Oh, it is.
And I find that pursuing it on social media makes me increasingly nervous. Mr. Trump has, we have to be very, very careful with.
She's like, I hate him. I despise that man. It pisses me off that the Americans voted for him. But
we have to be very, very careful with the president-elect.
Because he is the president-elect.
And we have to pull together, I think, all opposition party leaders and premiers, all elements of the Canadian political establishment, such as we are, better pull together to make sure we don't create any cracks that allow Fox News or Mr. Trump's social media to exploit us and say things about Canada that aren't true.
He didn't say anything about Canada that's not true. He didn't say anything about Canada that's not true. He simply said he wants them to be the 51st state. The Green Party has only one seat, and that's it. That's it. My God, you're look. The Green Party of Canada has one seat, at least according to that commenter, and you're looking at it. You want chat music that always makes you laugh? Chat music is good. I can do one chat music. I saw one that was just they started getting like a little tedious, like it was the same joke about the planes in 9/11 or children in the basement. It was like the same joke over and over again. But there was one I saw which was just I can do chat music. This is it. This is a little mean, but I apologize, but it's Christmas, so come here last. This is chat music, which is it's an evil place. Chat music is evil.
Bro can smell colors, bro breathing, no fight. Bro be making the trees work overtime. As Mike Tyson, this is why George Floyd died. You can see a brain float when you smell pie. He's the reason we can't breathe in space. Dodge Removal, bro has a free AirPod case. If we sit in the same room as bro, you might suffocate. Bro can smell GTA 6 release dates. The doctor didn't have to ask him for a deep breath. Bro doesn't score a line, he scores a paragraph. I can see your childhood memory.
Oh my God.
Reason not back, leave us some air, bro, you need to be paying your tax. If I can't have water, I want air, I know. So smells like AK Ultra HD mode. When farting bro is cooked, bro, I saw your frontal lobe. What season we cook can cause a hurricane with that nose. And that doesn't need to minimize the enter, bro. Bro uses a shovel too.
It doesn't need to minimize.
Pick his nose. I smell danger, I bro is white on the inside. I can smell sound, bro can smell cookies from websites. Bro can smell people's trees.
He can smell cookies from websites.
Bro can smell us through the screen. Bro can smell colors, bro breathing, no fight. Bro be making the trees work overtime. As Mike Tyson, this is why George Floyd died. You can see a brain float when you smell pie. Can smell colors, bro breathing, no fight. Bro be making the trees work overtime. As Mike Tyson, this is why George Floyd died. You can see a brain float when you smell pie.
Oh my God. I wasn't going to go back there, but my audience made me go back there. I wasn't going to do it. I was like, okay, we got the joke. Oh my God. I wasn't going to do it. Easy float when he smells pie. Oh my God. Rocket Richard and Gordie Howe are better and tougher. Okay, just stop with the blasphemy. This is so insane. No, they were not. No, they weren't. No. Do not question the great one. Okay, stop it. Just stop it. You know, let me tell you something. Mario Lemieux was better than any of these two guys, okay? And Mario Lemieux was phenomenal, as was Jaromir Jagr, but he was not Wayne Gretzky. He wasn't. He wasn't. Stop it. Just stop. Oh my God. They have an NHL. Marty McSorley protecting them, fought their own fight. Just stop it. Just stop. This is just a travesty. This is a travesty. This is like the people. This is like someone saying that George Blanda was the greatest football player of all time. It's just stop it. Just stop it. You can't. Come on. Come on. Oh yeah, no, come on. What do you Joe, what are you talking about? Archie Manning, greatest quarterback of all time. much better than Brady. Alberta and Saskatchewan would join willingly. Alberta has all the oil. The Sasquatch have all the uranium. Both are conservative. Yeah, I know. But there's no way for us to take that middle section. There's just no way to do it. Would that were possible, I would happily take Alberta, happily take Saskatchewan. Hell, I'll even take Manitoba. But I don't think that the Ottawadans, the Ottawans, or the British Columbia folk are going to be. We're not going to. The Ontarians are not going to be giving up Alberta and Saskatchewan. That's just not happening. They're not stupid. Off topic, it was illegal for my work to require me to do a DI training, even though I work from home and have never had any incidents. 1 of 2. I don't know. What's in your contract? It always starts with the contract. What does your contract say? Is there a policy handbook which would govern which often would read in as part of your contract, even if you're an at-will employee who doesn't have a contract? Yesterday, I was enlightened by a video, White Allergies, which taught me I have implicit bias and I must become an anti-racist activist. Wow. 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 Majority of Canadians did not vote Liberal NDP. Would that were the case. Somehow Trudeau is there for a long time now. This is what the following has been doing in 2024. What we've been like listening to cheap chat music. Thank you, Jenna. Very kind of you. I appreciate that. That's nice of you. Gordie Howe is getting a huge new bridge named after him between Detroit and Windsor. Gretzky isn't. See, because they're not gonna show him the respect he's due until he's dead. That's really the reality. They're not going to give him the respect he's due until he's dead. But Gretzky is just ridiculous. Great liquor, gifting a subscription to Good Logic. God bless you. Not one, I see 2. Wait, Great Liquor did it, and so did Squabob. I'm going to give you one of these too, Squabob. Whoops. CW gave one as well. Look at this. They're just. And here's another one from CW. Scrolling through here, seeing all these different. And here's another one for Squabob. It's probably the same one I'm seeing over and over again, but God bless you, people. I'm seeing double tonight. Dom Mannion dropping a 20 in here. Joe, this is from Dom Mannion. It's a rant. Joe, since someone turned me pink in chat, I am going to avoid Rumble for the next month because of this rash. It is so disappointing. It's like pink eye, but burns all over your body. Just look at it this way. If Kathy Hochul could show her face in public, you can show your face in Rumble. Okay? There's much less upside for her to be showing her face because no one sane listens to her. So your influence on the ghetto chat is far more significant than any influence of Kathy Hochul and her Bell's palsy face flashing up all over social media. So listen to Kathy. Take heed from Kathy. Just saying. Don't worry about it. Trump about to go full bore Andrew Jackson. That'd be cool. I'm proud to be a member of the cult, and we're going to make Canada great again as part of America. So you want, okay, first and foremost, I don't know what cult you're talking about because the following is not at all a cult type of cult. So, yeah, that's that. So I assume you're referring to some other cult. I don't know what it is. I don't need to ask if this XVM thing. I don't know what you're part of. I know what you're part of because the father is not at all a cult type of cult. So you're saying you want Canada. That's what you're saying. You want Canada. I'm happy to take Canada on. Most of the folks you're getting in Canada are not Albertans, and they're not from Saskatoon. They are actually Canadians in the worst sense of the word. No offense to Canadians, but you know what I'm saying. So if I told you we're going to bring on a second California, would you be like, yay? I don't think you would. Would you want a second California? Do you? Is that what you really want? I mean, all of Canada has how many people? How many people they got in Canada? $40 million. 40 million. So what's that? The size of Texas? I'm guessing Texas has 31 million. $38.9. I thought there was 15 in California, but I guess they're all fleeing from Gavin Newsom. 38.9. So it would become our most popular. If it became one state, it would be our most populous state and would almost certainly determine the outcome of the election in 2028, in 2032. It would imagine just having a second California, and it almost certainly would be blue. So with that, you tell me, I know you can love Trump all you want. I'm telling, imagine another 50 electoral votes just going blue. I mean, they would have to divest. They would have to, what's the electoral count in California? $54 electoral votes. So they would have to reapportion everything, but it would basically be another 50 electoral blue votes. How can we possibly survive that? How would that not sink America? Because I'll tell you right now, it would, in my opinion, we would just drown. We would drown. Canada would drown us. This is like the Canada is, it's like this. This is what Canada is to me. Okay. This is what Canada is to me. You're in a lifeboat. Okay. The ship went down. You're in a lifeboat. The lifeboat has a capacity of 10 people, and there's already 12 people in the lifeboat. This is what Canada is. Okay. And you see this really pretty looking person bobbing in the water, saying, please, please, save me, save me. They're dog paddling, they're breathing frantically, and you're looking at them like, wow, how can I let this pretty person drown? And whether you're a man or a woman, don't tell me it's not going to affect you. You see a pretty person, if they're if they're a gender that you're attracted to, that's definitely going to weigh into the calculus. It always does. So you see this pretty person bobbing in the water. Help me, help me. Oh, please, I'm drowning. Help me, help me. I can't paddle much longer. And you're singing and saying, guys, we got to save her. We got to save her. Come on. It's just one more woman. Why don't we say it's just one more woman? You're going to let her drown? Are you going to let her drown? And it was like, fine, let's go get, and that woman in the like dog paddling there, that woman's name is Canada. That's what that woman's name is. So we go paddling over. Don't worry, Canada. We got you. We're going to save you. We're going to save you, Canada. And then we get close up to Canada. Canada puts her beefy hooks on the side of the boat, and she starts hefting herself out of the water, and you realize that Canada happens to be 480 pounds, and you're like, we're done. We're cooked. We're cooked. This is insane. You can the whole boat starts lurching over as soon as Canada gets her meaty hooks on the side of the dinghy there that you got. And everyone's like saying, like, oh my God, how are we going to survive Canada? How will we possibly survive Canada? We can't take Canada on. We're all going to drown. We're all going to drown here. That's what Canada is to me. It's this very attractive, pretty face out there in the water that's looking for us to save her. And then when we actually see what's laying below the surface of the water, we'd be like, oh my God, what were we thinking? How the hell did we put ourselves in this situation? That's what Canada is to me. That's what it is. There's no way to look at it. That's the best analogy you're ever going to hear for what Canada is. Help me. How did we end up drifting over here? All right. I missed a few of these. Mostly not a cult. Greenland and Panama, yes. Canada, no. Yeah, because we can swallow them up. They're small. They're small. They're small. 56,000 people living in Greenland. Yeah, that I can handle. You want to give me a landmass that's the size of Alaska and has more moose than people living there? Yeah, I'm good with that. Happy holidays, Joe. I heard you were giving out spiked eggnog and fried squirrel bites. Here's to another year of better tracksuit designs. I think the current ones you went overboard on the stars, the six-pronged stars. Coalition government. That's how Trudeau got in. Yeah, well, it was coalition disaster. We would need to deport the moose and francophones. There's so many. It's not just the French. Don't get me started on the French. Don't get me started on the hoity-toity French up in Quebec. Don't even get me started on that. Oh my God. Oh my God. No. So as a troll, I'm really fine with it. As a troll, I think it's hilarious when I see that you get this Karen over here is all bothered by
with the president-elect.
That's cool, but an actual plan? No. Oh my God, no. Oh no. Yeah, guys, it's really bad trade. Imagine California, but a third French instead of Spanish speaking. Would work great for me though. I'm from Ontario, by the way. Yeah. If I was Canadian, I'd be all over this. I'd be all over this. It's a really bad. Don't even start me on their socialized medicine. Malcolm, if you're in Canada, I'll tell you right now, you should schedule an MRI. Just for 2 years from now, because you might need one by then. You should always have an ongoing, I need an MRI. Almost this, and then you could just not show up. Just cancel out. But you have a 2-year wait there. So I don't see any way of acquiring Canada without acquiring their healthcare system, which I myself personally do not want. Does anyone else? No one wants their healthcare system. No one except for Cenk Uyghur. Isn't Canada where all the hippies went to dodge draft? We would definitely have to break the province up into states. So you want to take on 11 states? How many provinces? There used to be 11 provinces. I don't know. Then I saw recently it was 10. I was like, no. When I was in 5th grade, which granted was 35 years ago, but when I was in 5th grade, there were 11 provinces and 2 territories. There's Northwest and Yukon were the 2 territories. And the 11 provinces, I can name them even because I had a 5th grade teacher who was a lunatic about Canada, loved Canada, and was, drilling Canada geography. I probably can't even name the capitals of all these ridiculous places. So let me see let me see how well I can do this. There's British Columbia, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta. That's probably not in order. Ontario, Quebec, Newfoundland. There's a Prince Albert thing or something like that, which I know I get that wrong every time, but there's something Prince something there. Come on. What else was there? I'm missing. Come on. What's the one right over Michigan? That's not Ontario. Ontario doesn't reach that far out. Went to Nova Scotia. There's definitely. There used to be. I'm almost positive there used to be 11. Malcolm will tell me if I'm wrong. I got Alberta. Prince Edward Island. Yeah, that was it. Prince Edward. I got Manitoba. Manitoba, Saskatchewan. There's Regina. There's Alberta. The prairie states are Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. On the west coast, there's British Columbia. I'm missing one in that western region, Canada. And there's Ontario, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. I got British Columbia. Started there. Yukon's territory. None of it? I don't know. But then I saw there's 10, so I don't know what happened. I think Trump's just trolling to get the dictator out of power. Could be. Trump ain't serious about making Canada a state. He was publicly punking out that sissy crybaby Justin. I hope you're right. Bad analogy. Fat people are buoyant. Not when they're in the boat. Not when they're trying to climb into the boat. So, no. Treat it like a territory with no voting like Puerto Rico. That I can get on board with. Because that is not making them a state. That's making them our bitch. And I'm totally fine with that. I just don't think Canada would ever go for it. I don't think Canada would ever go for it. You want to make them our bitch? Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. That I'm fine with. But what is the upside in becoming a territory? Are you protected? Is that what it is? They're already protected through NATO. We can leave NATO and then say, all right, now we'll protect you by making you a territory. That's not a bad plan. Okay, enough of this. California is the redheaded stepchild. It will soon sink in the sea and will seek for reparations for mistreatment. Be very careful. When I was a kid, I was expecting, but by the time I was 50, which this did not happen, I was like, that's San Andreas fault. It's gone. It's gonna be gone. I was like literally scared to go to California the first time I went there because I was like, this place is just gonna fall in the ocean one day. It's just gonna fall in the ocean. And yet somehow it stands. I've had an MRI, short wait time if you know the tricks. You got it for your dog. That's what it is. Is that the trick? That you said, oh yeah, my dog needs an MRI, because then you can get in 3 weeks. It's just humans that they don't really like treating. Calling French Canadians hoity-toity, bro. I'm half Franco-American, and we make rednecks look like aristocrats. We make Greeks look classy. Sorry, Greeks. With the whole French thing, we know what's going on. Write them down. I'm losing track of which ones you guessed. We had 10 provinces and 3 territories. Was 2 when I was born, but they split 1. Really? What? Northwest Territory was split? I don't know. All right. Well, that's my show for tonight. I really covered everything. You can really, if you're watching after the fact, just end it now. The rest, almost definitely is gonna be a waste of your time. So, I don't know what to tell you. The rest is gonna be a waste of your time. If I was watching now, this is when I would turn off. If I was watching myself right now, I'd be like, okay, the rest of we had some amazing moments in the first hour, and then the second hour, everything just went. off a cliff. It's disaster. It's a disaster. I'm telling you, look, I gave you a solid, amazing hour. The first hour was funny. Between Kathy, Hochul, and my whole Canada fat girl analogy, this was grade A material. I actually, when I've been looking back at my shows over the last week, if you missed any of the episodes, there were very, very solid episodes this past week in particular, which haven't had enough views, I think, for reasons that we can discuss another time, which means I'm not going to discuss. And yeah, but they really have been high quality. You're probably better off if you're watching now, go back and rewatch something I did 2-3 days ago, because that was just grade A from start to finish. And the last hour here, I'm guaranteeing you, is going to be terrible. This is going to be so bad. I'm going to be looking back at this with shame, and I'm going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe, why didn't I just end the show? Why didn't I? And I'm like, no, I can't do, nope, I got it. No, can't do it. No. Plenty of time for some Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. That's not enough. There's never enough time for that. There's never enough time for that. Okay. All right. I could take calls. That's what I could do. I could take calls. Maybe I'll have someone call in and walk me through how to play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney on air with you guys. I actually would do this right now. Nothing happened today. I warned you. God. All right. I'll open my phone line up. I'm opening it up. Just because if I'm riffing with someone, it'll probably work better. All right, the number is 972-454-0703, 972-454-0703. You're about to see it launching across the bottom of the screen as a banner here. Not that banner, this banner. And it's also around that time you should like and subscribe. Seriously, the subscriptions have got to start happening. I'm not kidding. This is like, it's like I'm getting heart palpitations. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, do all that good stuff. Where am I at here? That is the number, 972-454-0703. If you have thoughts about Canada, whether or not you think we can bring them in, sell me on why we should take Canada on. That you think that would be a good idea. Especially as calling it our 51st state instead of saying, we'll give you 10 states. You really want to have another 70 senators? Is that what you want? Sorry, another 20 senators? I don't know about that. Another 20 senators? That's really diluting the power of your senator. It's a pretty big freaking Senate. Get Runkle and talk about the Canada thing. All right, I'll try calling. If I try calling Runkle, I'm trying to think. If someone was doing the whole Google Voice thing that I do, like another YouTube creator I know, and they got on the phone and they called me, and like live on the air, I personally would find it hilarious. I'd be like, dude, how desperate are you for content? How desperate are you for content that you're just calling me? That's what I would be thinking. That is what I'd be thinking. But someone
call from Uncivil Law Kurt. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Kurt!
What's up?
You badass. That was amazing of you. That was phenomenal timing. How are you, brother? Merry Christmas.
I do what I can, man. How are you? Merry Christmas.
That was hilarious. If you ever, let me tell you this, if you ever Why do I keep getting this thing calling? If you ever are like desperate to fill some time and you need to call me on the phone, even if I'm not watching, I want you to totally feel free. Like, you know what? Let's just call Good Logic. We're just gonna hang out with him, and I'll just schmooze away with him.
I already have your number, Joe.
Well, I know you have my number. My point is, you know, it most. Do you think Runkle? If I called Runkle on air, I'd be like, "Hey, Runkle, I'm on the air right now," and just figure I'd call, shoot the breeze with you, wish you Merry Christmas or something.
Yeah,
that's
Runkle
not
call.
a bad idea. That's actually not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, call him, and if he doesn't pick up for you, he'll pick up for me. He usually picks up for me. I'll conference him in. It'll be great.
It's 11:30. All right, go. Let's get Runkle on the phone. Let's see if we get him. Let's see if we can get him.
No, he's an hour behind me.
Yeah,
it's 9:30.
Yeah, for him it's way early.
It's 9:30 for him.
Yeah,
so it's early today.
But
Runkle had a question. Runkle had a question for me, and I haven't looked up the answer yet. And I want to see if you know the answer.
I'll cover for you. What's the question?
So, if Canada becomes a state, do all their citizens become like retroactively natural born? I mean, how does that work?
You're saying could they become president?
Yeah, like how does that work with admission of states? I don't know. I haven't looked it up. I assume the rule will be the same as when we admitted like any state, Arizona or
You're saying Ted Cruz
New Mexico or something. Yeah, can Runkle become president if we admit Canada as a country? Is that a thing?
I would think.
I don't know.
I would think so. It's a great question. That is a great question.
That is a great question.
All right, let's get Runkle on the phone here.
Yeah.
I'll ask that question right now.
Yeah, there you go. If he doesn't pick up, I'll call him. He'll pick up for me.
Go get him. No, you're calling. You're calling him.
Okay, I'll call him. Give me a second. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. You don't want to hear from Runkle? Of course you do. If Canada becomes the same way, if Texas became a state, when California became a state, a Californian could become president. It has to be. What happened? I'm waiting on him.
All right, Runkle's on the line.
Runkle! I can't hear him.
Hello, I've just been sort of summoned, I guess.
Thank you, brother.
How are things?
We're on the air right now. Just letting you, I assume Kurt told you that, but in case he didn't, I'm live right now. I'm live streaming right now, and my audience hears you. So I'm just giving you that heads up. And I was covering this Trump continuous, what I assume is trolling about Canada becoming a state. And I was wondering if I can get your thoughts on that. Would you?
Yeah.
Would you want that to happen?
Well, I mean, I suspect that if it happens, I'm probably unlikely to survive the whole process. So, I'm not so keen on that bit.
Why would you say you're unlikely to survive?
Well, because there is no process for it to happen without a war, because of the way the Canadian Constitution is set up.
And, the whole Constitution's like just optional anyway, because they're like, you didn't really have a full-blown Constitution until what, 1980s or something?
Well, the problem is we've got an amending formula, but it's basically that the formula is just that it can't. So if they, so basically the only way that happens is sort of a military invasion, and if that happens, I suspect that the cities that are not right next to the border and thus immediately invadable are probably just going to get sort of missiled/bombed into oblivion, which is me. So I don't have a bomb shelter in my backyard. So I kind of figure that
all Trudeau has to do is do one of
sort
the
of immediate
legislation and council things that he does, where he just magically declares a law into existence, and apparently that's a thing. So all Trudeau has to do is say, apparently.
Yeah, it doesn't work for that, unfortunately. So there's limits to that. So,
Okay.
yeah, I would just kind of expect that the most likely outcome is that and I live a little bit too near a military base, so
Okay,
let's
assume you and
is
your
what it is.
nearest. Let's assume that you and your nearest and dearest would all survive the annexation of Canada. Okay, and maybe perhaps it would. Let's say there was political pressure or whatever it was, and there was some sort of memorandum or whatever thing, and it came out, and Canada agreed to become part of the United States. Do you think that would be good for Canada? Do you think that would be good for the United States? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, all of that would really have to depend on like terms and conditions and so forth, because I suspect that the terms and conditions on that would not be favorable. Like, I suspect that we'd probably end up with something more like Puerto Rico, except minus, probably less favorable. And so I'm not super keen on the whole idea of, taxation without representation, etc.
No, you come in as a full
I am.
23 million people in Canada, right?
There's 40 million in 40 million.
Yeah, which is all the more reason why.
40 million. Okay,
yes,
so it's only
they
off
would
by
be
half.
if they became one state, they would be the biggest state. And California is only 38 million. So, yeah, they would be the biggest state.
But there's. And so if you've got Trump annexing, there's no way he wants to create second California.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I was saying exactly that. I don't want them as a state. We would never, the Democrats would win every election from here on out. Right?
What are we going to do with the U.S. House?
We're
going to have to increase the number, right?
So I strongly suspect that there'd be no voting allowed, for Canadians. So.
Right. Well, that I would be down with, but you're not down with that. Well, I was speculating the way Trump.
I kind of like having a say in.
You're not down with the whole no taxation without representation. Okay. Well, let me ask you this: what if your taxes were lower as a result of this? Because he says in his tweet over here, he's saying that when we annex you, you're going to be paying much less tax. You'll be paying 60% less taxes. So would you take taxation without representation?
Yeah, I mean,
if your taxes were 60% lower than they currently are.
I mean, if you don't have representation, the likelihood that your less taxes stay that way are approximately zero. Like, if they say, "Oh, we're going to tax you less," but you don't have any actual say in things. Well, then every time they want to tax something, where are they going to impose those taxes? Oh, right, it's the people who don't get to vote. So, yeah, I don't buy that. That's not how that works in practice. If you have 5 people all gather for dinner and you let 4 of them vote on the distribution of who's paying for the meal, it's going to be the 5th guy who ends up paying for the entire dinner. So. Yeah.
I mean, this is a very old idea, because as memory serves, there was a provision in the Articles of Confederation where we contemplated Canada joining the United States. So we're just going way old school.
It is. It's very based. It's very.
Yeah, it didn't. Something happened the last time that was tried, but.
Well, you tried to make it part of the UK again by burning down the White House. There was that, but we don't bring that up in nice company.
I mean, the whole conquering thing is not exactly a polite sort of way to go about it. And I mean, I do have some patriotism. I'm not a huge fan of it. I also suspect that they haven't really contemplated some of the massive hassles and annoyances that would come about with all of this. Mm-hmm. Canada has a really hard time getting along with itself. So, congratulations, you're going to now have to deal with Quebec. You're going to have to deal with all of our other issues, and you don't want that.
I'm sharing with my audience here that the National Post says a new poll finds that Donald Trump isn't just more popular amongst Canadians than their own prime minister, but he's one of Canada's favorite Republican presidential candidates ever.
It would be hard not to be more popular than Canada's prime minister right now.
And yet somehow he stays
I was
there.
going to say syphilis is more popular than Justin Trudeau right now.
That's not much of a metric, Joe.
That's a pretty good line. Pretty good line there.
Like that's kind of it's. I mean, Republican presidents don't tend to be popular in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So, now, I mean, Canada isn't even sort of a monoculture because if you go in the West, there's different opinions than the East. And because of the population differences, the East has sort of been running the show for a long time. But, I mean, it'll be interesting. One of the other things is that we might actually be in the middle of an election when Trump is coming into power, or who doesn't want to give up power, then he might prorogue the government, which means basically pause the government. And so it might be Trump is coming into power and the government is kind of shut down and not able to do much, which will be really spectacular because you'll have Trump saying, well, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, and we just won't be able to do it. So it'll all be interesting. We're going to have some chaos coming up.
Sounds like he's going to help you get rid of
So
Trudeau.
ideally, I mean...
No, I think he's going to help you get rid of Trudeau.
Well, I mean...
Which that would yeah.
Trudeau doesn't need help getting rid of Trudeau. Trudeau has made himself so wildly unpopular that, relatives of mine who used to argue with me about Trudeau is great and so forth, and used to be absolutely 100%, I'm talking to people who've been Trudeau, like liberal voters their entire lives, who are like, I will never vote liberal again. Okay. He is really, really doing a lot of damage to, that party.
So walk me through why.
I mean, it's hard to sort of understate how much they've been.
Yeah, walk us through why, because I'm very curious about this. Yeah, sorry, what?
Scandal after scandal after scandal, from like SNC-Lavalin, which was that company was engaged in bribery with another country, and specifically the bribery was like providing sex workers. And then they wanted to basically cut them a sweetheart deal, the government did, because SNC-Lavalin is based out of Quebec, and they figured that it would be bad for votes in Quebec if this company got shut down. So the justice minister who had the decision on that didn't want to cut the deal. And so he ended up basically bouncing the justice minister so they could get that done. She was not pleased with that. It just continues on and on. He's got various sort of friends and family who seem to get better or seem to get benefits. The whole thing, if it was a third world country, would be sort of mocking the sort of banana republicness of it. Like he just did a cabinet shuffle, and a guy who he just now put as an important minister used to be his babysitter. It's wild.
Well, that's very appropriate.
What's been going on?
Got to look after Trudeau.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like the level of just. So people have finally grown tired of it, and I think a large part of why they've grown tired of it is because housing costs have gone insane, and food costs have gone insane, and people will forgive a lot so long as they can afford, a comfortable life. But that's not true anymore. You've got people who are sitting there and are just desperately struggling for how are they going to make ends meet because their rent is going way up and their grocery bills are going way up, and they're like, how do I how do I survive? How do I put money away for retirement? You know, for a lot of people, that's become kind of a lost hope. And so people are angry. He's badly mismanaged immigration in a way that's making people unhappy on both sides of things. He's tried to play both sides of the fence on issues of anti-Semitism and Israel in ways that, like one Jewish school has had people shoot at it 3 times now. People are losing patience. It's becoming crazy.
Wow.
So we're getting like crime is, you know, and the government says, oh, crime is not so bad. And the problem is that people have stopped reporting to, you know, crimes because it's just, what's the point? If somebody broke into my house, the only reason I'd report it right now is just on the basis that I'd need to for an insurance claim. But I wouldn't expect that it would get solved in any way. It's crazy.
Wow. So you're saying we don't want any part of this mess, and you don't want any part of joining the U.S. That's what you're saying. This is a bad marriage on both ends. That's what I'm taking from this call.
Really, what I'd like to see is Canada and the U.S. sort of returning to being good partners. But I think that I don't think the U.S. wants Canada, and Canada doesn't want to get annexed. I don't think it's likely to work out well for either. So Canada and the U.S. have historically been close allies, and it's a little baffling to me when I see Trump wanting to sort of pick a fight with Canada, which, of course, you know, it's not like we're going to win that fight. Economically, we're much smaller, and we're, you know, and militarily, it's just not a question. I mean, our military right now is kind of in shambles, but so no, I mean, I'd rather see sort of good alliance, but I mean, I guess we'll see. Is it trolling, or is he got something in mind? I'm feeling like I should maybe, you know, maybe I should start digging a hole in my backyard just in case. You know, if the bombs start dropping, maybe it'd be good to have a place to go hide for a while. So
I think that Canada has been the victim of leftist policies like so much of the United States, and to much of the same effect. We see rise on crime, people not feeling safe in the streets, increase in prices, increase in groceries, increase in cost of housing. Basically, the left has destroyed New York and California and Canada is in desperate need of our liberation. We've been toying with this idea for a long time. The Canadians are already running NORAD. Okay, we're in it. We've got to join alliance going already.
I mean, the thing is there's a whole bunch of things I would love to see. Like, I would love to see a Canadian Second Amendment. It's just that if Canada becomes sort of an occupied territory, I doubt the U.S. would be like, okay, step one about this occupied, you know, this occupied country is to give them more guns, right? That's not how that usually goes. So, it's like, I would love a Second Amendment. I don't think we'd get that out of being occupied by the U.S. So, you know, I don't think that the promise of freedom would be extended as broadly as all of that. So if we're only just getting like the bad end of things, then yeah. But
would you ever do the V thing of like just saying to heck with this, I'm moving to Florida?
I mean, it does get tempting at times. The problem is it's kind of tough. Viva Fry's got sort of, I understand, like family members or something else to give them an in.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, right? But I mean, I am starting to study on occasion study U.S. law to possibly make an attempt at a U.S. bar exam.
You need me to adopt you?
You know, so maybe
Really? Yeah, I'll sponsor you. You're my brother from another mother. I'll vouch for you.
Yeah, no, an adult can adopt another adult. Do you need me to adopt you?
There you go.
So that you can be my son and
there
come
you
into
go.
the United States. Will that help?
There you go. You'll call you'll call Kurt.
But I mean,
Daddy.
that might be a step there. Is if I do get the ability to practice in the U.S., then possibly I could go to a firm and be like, hey, would you hire me? Is that a way I could get over there?
Okay, I'm a little confused about something here because I'm sure you're making enough money from YouTube that you wouldn't need to work. You need to work as a lawyer for a firm. You need to have that kind. You're not making.
Well, the problem is
to live off of it.
Well,
I don't mean to ask you your social media
down,
finance. That was a rude question for me.
I don't. I am really bad at the whole grifting thing.
Oh.
But so I don't make as much as as perhaps some, or perhaps I could if I was better at it. But the other thing is, to move to the U.S., you often they probably wouldn't be okay with me just going, hey, I'm just going to go there and do YouTube. Because suddenly at that point, I'm going there, and if I'm doing the YouTube thing while I'm there, they'd consider that working. And so then it's like, well, how do you get the work visa? Well, normally you'd have to be sponsored for that. YouTube isn't going to be able to do that. So
I'll hire you for Good Logic LLC.
American visa law hasn't.
Good Logic LLC.
It hasn't really caught up to the idea of influencers.
We're hiring, baby.
Yeah, Good Logic LLC would totally pick you up in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Yeah, for sure. You kidding me? I would totally bring you on board. There you go. I need to be working here in America because the Canadian stuff isn't cutting it. So I'm going to need you to work here in America.
Although, if I was going to go to the U.S., New York is probably not my top choice.
You don't
New York's almost as restricted with guns as Canada, isn't it?
No. You can be working from Florida, from Texas. You can work from. You just have to be you have to be based in America. That's what Good Logic LLC is demanding. You don't just not in Canada. I just need you somewhere in America. Wherever works best for you, that's where you're going to be most productive. So that's why I need you to be in. That's why Good Logic LLC. I need you there.
I need somewhere where I can go and buy a machine gun.
There you go. Texas.
Well, that's the other problem is that if I am more
your speed.
I missed that, Kurt.
I said maybe Texas or Florida is more your speed rather than the Northeast. We can help you down here.
I would so love to see Run.
Yeah, so I think Texas is probably. Well,
and you're looking for property.
I do have some
property. We got lots of property in Texas, man. You can get yourself a ranch. You can get yourself a ranch with some fishing holes. It'd be great, man. Get yourself a homestead.
Well, I did just put down to buy some property up here, which if there does start to be sounds of invasion, that'll be where I'm heading. It's just like, all right, let's get away from cities. But yeah, it'll, Texas is nice. I've liked Texas every time I've been there. And so, yeah.
All right. Well, Ronco, this was awesome. This was I feel much more informed now. I feel like I understand a lot more. Because I really had questions. I was wondering, why is it that Trudeau seems to be slipping? Because this is not the first time that people have come after him and tried getting him removed. And it always felt like an impossible dream to get rid of this guy. But you're saying that
the big thing right now is the economics. Because people can't afford their rent and so forth, that's kind of the big thing is, it really picks the Teflon off. So now he's lost his untouchability, and all of those old scandals, people are like, well, this is not cool. This is not okay. And hopefully we get an election soon. That's my big Christmas wish. And, I don't know if Poilievre is going to be better. I hope so, but
you think he's going to win?
It's hard to imagine that he'd be worse.
You think he's going to win?
What's that?
You think Paul Poilievre is going to win?
Right now, he's polling at 99% chance of a majority government, which means, not right now, according to the polls, not only is he winning, but he's crushingly winning.
Wow.
Now, things can change when an election rolls out, but we are potentially going to see a an almost unprecedented win. And Liberal Party is basically on their way to massive collapse. And if they get another scandal or two, like if they manage to have more chaos, they could really fall apart. Right now, there's a good chance that they're not even the official opposition, that instead the Bloc Québécois, which is a party that is only for Quebec, like they don't run candidates outside of Quebec, might actually be the official opposition, which is just insane.
Wow.
It's so I mean, my hope is that there's not enough Liberal Party MPs elected to maintain official party status. My hope is that they can all share a cab home after work. That I am fine with them completely collapsing. I'm really hoping.
If they went from domination to losing party status, the size of that shift is hard to contemplate. We haven't had a shift like that in American politics since, I don't know, the Civil War.
Yeah, it would be like, imagine, the next election, the Republicans only get Texas, right? Like, that's the only state they get. That's the kind of thing we're looking at here. It's just insane, right? So, we'll see. It's going to be crazy.
The Republicans won everything except Minnesota and DC in '84. So it hasn't even been 40 years since the Republicans did a 49 state sweep. So that's not even that unprecedented. What you're looking at in Canada is even more unprecedented than that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's potentially going to be an absolute blowout, and I'm here for it. So
it sounds like
I really hope
the
we can
exact
get
kind of reversal
back to our.
It sounds like the exact kind of reversal that America just had with Trump being elected. Because Paul Poilievre, to my audience who you've never seen him, this guy is based and awesome and smart, and he's actually
I'd vote for him.
I wish he was an American. I wish this guy was an American because he just seems smart and calm and level-headed and can decimate his opponents in debate. Everything about him is just, from a politician perspective, is exactly the sort of guy I would go out campaigning for. So my blessing for you
really
forthcoming years, you should be able to refer to Paul Poilievre as your prime minister, because that would be amazing for both Canada and the United States.
Yeah, it'll be pretty spectacular if that's what we get, and I really hope that we get some revisions to the gun laws so that we can buy more handguns and maybe go back to 3-gun and so forth. So here's hoping.
All right. Well, my brother, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and
thank you very, very much. And next week, my audience is having me do this thing that I haven't done in a year, which is this Make Joe Laugh contest, where I'll probably be sending out invites to people. So I'm not going to put you on the spot right now, but I will tell you that that's probably going to be New Year's Eve. So if you got nothing going on and you want to come hang out, both of you gentlemen would be very welcome additions to the panel that I expect to have here on that night. I'm giving you a heads up before anyone else. You're my first 2 invites. So.
Aww.
All right. Well, I will see. I'm not sure what I'm up to, but
no commitments.
I'll try to
I'm not asking for a commitment now. I'm just giving you a heads up. Okay.
Much appreciated.
All right, my brothers. Thank you so much.
All right.
I'm going to get back to my other stuff here on the show. Have a great night. Awesome talking to both of you.
All right. Bye for now.
Likewise.
I wasn't too abrupt, right? All right. I didn't remember this, although when you're saying it now, actually, it does ring a bell. You're asking me about, someone asked me up above, Zandy asked me, hey, Joe, did you see the drama with H-1B on X? Elon was getting hammered on it earlier today. I didn't see that. No, I didn't even know what that was a reference to. It was about legal immigration. And Yeah, look, there's things I disagree with Elon about. He wants to have more legal immigration. I totally disagree with him. It's like, no, it's like maybe we just, slow our roll a little bit. On this issue, I'm going to share with you all a video that someone shared with me, which I thought was a great video breaking down the futility of trying to save the world through legal immigration. The utter futility of trying to save the world through legal immigration. This is a great video that this sets up your super chat here, Zandy, sets this up perfectly, which will just share with you the utter futility of trying to save the world by having broader legal American immigration.
This gumball represents the 1 million legal immigrants that the United States has taken every year on average.
I'm going to take the phone number down. I'll come back to calls after I'm done with this. All right? So I'm taking down the banner. But I do plan on going back to that.
Since 1990. Now, who in the world deserves our humanitarian compassion? The World Bank has one measure of the desperately poor of the world. They make less than $2 a day. And how many people make less than $2 a day in the world? We'll start with Africa. In Africa alone, there are 650 million people who make less than $2 a day. 650 million. And in India,
which is basically twice as many as there are in America, twice as many as there are Americans.
Another 890 million people desperately poor. China adds another 480 million people making less than $2 a day. And unfortunately, the rest of Asia has a heartbreaking 810 million people who the World Bank says make less than $2 a day. And finally, there's 105 million of Latin America's population that are desperately poor. All told, the World Bank says there are 3 billion people in the world, 3 billion people who are desperately poor, making less than $2 a day. That's 3,000 gumballs. And every year, we take 1 million and suggest that we've somehow made a humanitarian difference. Of course, we don't pull our immigrants from these desperately poor populations, do we? These people are too poor, too sick, too disconnected to make it here as immigrants.
This is such a reminder. It's a great reminder, like for the Christmas holiday, as to the blessing and how powerful American privilege is. Just how powerful American privilege is.
We tend to pull our immigrants out of the better off poor of the world. And Mexico tends to define the type of immigrant that we bring here because the plurality of people come from Mexico. And Mexico is poor. How many people in the world live in countries that have average incomes lower than that of Mexico? And the World Bank tells us that that number is these 3 billion plus another 2.6 billion people. 5.6 billion people in the world
are broker than Mexico,
who live in countries with average incomes below that of Mexico.
Unbelievable.
That's 5,600 gumballs.
Unbelievable.
So what is it that the elites are telling us? They're telling us that when we take this 1 million immigrants, that we somehow or another are tackling world poverty. Double our immigration to 2 million a year. We couldn't make a noticeable difference. And we may be really hurting the impoverished people of the world because the million that we do take are among the most energetic, often the better educated, certainly the most dissatisfied people that if they did not immigrate would be the agents for change to improve the lot of all the people in these countries. The true heroes in the global humanitarian field are the people in these countries who have the wherewithal to immigrate to another country, but instead stay in their countries to apply their skills to help their fellow countrymen. Unfortunately, our immigration system tends to entice these very type of people to abandon their countrymen. The impossibility of making even a dent is actually worse than it looks here. Because last year, when we took 1 million immigrants, these countries added births over deaths, 80 million more people into the impoverished population. And this year, Congress is bringing in 1 million legal immigrants. And this year, according to the United Nations, these countries are expected to add another 80 million people. And next year, you can be quite sure that Congress will bring in another 1 million immigrants. And these countries, unfortunately, will be adding another 80 million people into these impoverished nations. We could take 5 million a year, but we'd never get ahead of what's happening in these countries. Not in this century. Don't you see? Immigration can never be an effective or significant way to deal with the suffering people of the world. They have to be helped where they live. 99.9% of them will never be able to immigrate to a rich country. There's no hope for that. They have to bloom where they're planted. The only place that 99.9% of these people can be helped is where they live. Let's help them there.
Powerful display. It's a powerful use of a visual aid for display to make your argument. You just see those gumballs falling all over the floor, and the audience gasps. Like, it's a very, very powerful display. Respect that. Respect that. And this relates to the dispute that Elon is in today. Where he is getting killed on his own app. Because he's of the opinion that we should just be bringing in more people, saying the fixed pie fallacy. The fixed pie fallacy is, I agree with him, it is a fallacy. Fixed pie basically means there's only so much out there, and if you get some, that's less I have. So it's just a pie, it's a fixed pie. The more you have, the less I have. When the more others have, the less I have, as opposed to the fact that those who recognize that as a fallacy say, no, the pie can grow and all of us have more. And that is true. But that doesn't mean that immigration all of a sudden creates a bigger pie. That's the flaw in his attack on the fixed pie fallacy. And, so he was responding to, I don't know who this is, Joe Lonsdale. But he said, my friend's freedom is America first. For USA to have the highest standard of living, generous government services, and strongest military, we need to recruit the best and brightest and build the best companies. I'm against more low-end H-1B immigrants, but let's win at the talent game, which is exactly what this guy was just saying. All you're doing is you're hurting those other countries. You're not fixing anything. It's actually a form, bringing in the best and brightest from outside this country. That is modern-day colonialism. That's what that is. That's colonialism. And Law of Self-Defense correctly points out exactly what this guy was just saying. We're doing a disservice to all the third world crap holes by sucking away their most capable people. Help third world crap holes help themselves by immediately ceasing any and all third world migration for any reason to the United States. It's the caring thing to do. Here. He also responded, got good feedback for his response. He's like, how about if we have the Indian migrants instead get tech jobs in India, the Haitian migrants instead get tech jobs in Haiti and so forth? How about America tries out a policy of zero migrants for any reason for a minimum of 5 years and then reassess? That's what logic dictates. That is what logic dictates. So, Tim Hortons, now Canada last big shift like that was 1993. Conservatives went from a majority in parliament to only having 4 seats. It's not unprecedented. All right. Any clue why we're seeing commercials from Ontario saying, hey, remember we're buddies? I don't know. They're probably afraid of Trump. They're Ontarians. Runkle, Ottawa, Ontario is going with Pierre. I'm so happy for him on that. Tim Hortons now. know who Tim Horton is. I don't know what that is. I'm going to open back my phone line for a couple of minutes here. Couple of minutes. You want to call in? Give me your thoughts about us taking on Canada. The overweight, bloated woman that is Canada, which apparently most base Canadians out there are like, no, oh no, no. So that number, I should give you that number. That would be helpful. It's 972-454-0703, 972-454-0703. Let me check in here and see what's going on in the ghetto. In case I missed something. TX47 says, Joe, I know Canadians who got into the jewelry business in New York City. Have you ever been in the Diamond District and see the New York Gem Expo? One can do well to study up on international import-export laws. Yeah, there's a lot of money. I have been to 47th Street many times. Why don't I... That's not working. There it is.
Call from
Wukong.
Wukong.
Check some ass, Joe.
Freilich and Hanukkah to you as well. How you doing, brother?
Baruch Hashem. I can't complain too much. Canada, I mean, like, I think a good amount of it is just bravado and, what's the word, trolling by everybody's part. But, yeah, like, Canadians, like, all my Canadian friends, none of them have ever wanted to be American because they like being Canadian. And they are too liberal.
They are crazy liberal.
Yeah, they're basically like Democrats and Israelis.
I'll tell you that I mean, I was talking, you know, that guy Spidey, like he was telling me how liberal Canadians are. He was like, in America, he's like, he was saying, this is what he said to me at one point. He goes, I don't even understand the pro-life argument.
Jeez.
Like, it's like, I don't even understand why someone would be, I don't even understand what it is. And he said, I've never in my life met someone who says, like face to face, who says that they're pro-life. Every person I know is pro-choice. Everyone I've ever met is pro-choice.
That's pretty bad. But,
that's
no,
like, when I hear that, I'm like, I do not want Canada. I don't want them. I don't want, if that's his experience in meeting Canadians, I don't want them.
Yeah, basically. I mean, like, now the best thing would be that, like, that Canadian lawyer's name's Runkle, right?
Yeah, Runkle Bailey. His name is,
yeah, well,
his first name is Ian, but everyone calls his channel's Runkle Bailey.
Roger that. Now, so, I mean, he's pretty much right. Like, the best thing would be for them to actually course correct and get it right, as opposed to us actually having to, like, annex them. Like, the only way I could see it, like, us actually making them the 50th plus states of America would be if we literally made them, like, a territory for 30 or 40 years and denied them, like, said you can't take part, but also we'd have to have a 0% tax.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're part of this now, but you have a 0% tax, you can't take part. Like, I don't think, like, we can actually, I don't think we're at a point where we can actually just take a place like that. Like, most of the United States was, like, everything west of Mississippi was, like, annexed after, like, was started to be annexed basically after the Mexican-American War. But there were so few people over there, like, as far as American citizens, it didn't matter. And all that immigration really filled that out. Like, the only people that were out there were what? Native Americans who were too busy fighting. So
I was thinking, instead of making them a state, this is what we do, okay? This is what we can do. Get out of NATO, so they don't have our NATO protection anymore, okay? Just say, we're done with the whole NATO thing. This is a multi-step plan here, but this is the good logic plan for how to deal with Canada if you're Trump. Say, okay, NATO, it was really nice, but the Cold War is over, and we're done here. So go protect yourselves. And God forbid if there's some sort of terrible flare up, we'll consider our options at that point. But we're done with protecting Europe, and we need to really invest in protecting North America. And then we tell Canada that you're not going to become a state, but we are going to protect your borders, because protecting your borders is part of protecting our borders. And don't worry that we're not part of NATO and not protecting you anymore, because we will protect you. And we're going to charge a fee that you basically give us access to some of your federal lands there, which are rich in natural resources, that you allow us to basically extract some of those natural resources. That's going to be the price for our annual military budget that's going to be extended. And that would make the military industrial complex really happy that, okay, we're investing here in extending our borders considerably in what needs to be protected. And we get compensation in natural resources, which Canada is fat with natural resources. You go up I don't care, we got up to the Northwest Territory, but we basically start raiding their natural resources as that's the form of tax. We're not going to take dollars from Canadians, but access to some of those natural resource fat lands. That's the compensation we're getting for serving as your big brother. And this way you deal with your own government, your own stuff like that. But that's the contract between Canada and the United States. Boom, there you go. Don't go through the whole complicated governments or swallowing up 40 million liberals. No. We're going to protect you like a mercenary. We're protecting you. We're your security guards, and you're going to compensate us not with your Canadian dollars, which, let's face it, who wants to try spending Canadian dollars here? Good luck. No, we don't. No pictures of Queen on our money. No, we're just going to be. You're going to give us exclusive access to certain fat portions of natural resource rich Canadian land. There you go. What do you think of that plan? What do you think? That's my plan for you.
You chose that NATO thing specifically because you knew that you were talking to me, didn't you?
No, I don't know why we're part of. I don't know why NATO exists anymore.
For the same reason, honestly, yeah, because the same reason it existed years ago.
Oh yeah, you're all Ukraine. I forgot. You're all crazy. Yay, Ukraine! You've got like the whole Ukrainian flag there. I totally forgot about that.
Hey, whoa, don't project.
Zelensky. Yay.
No.
Prince Zelensky. I
wasn't.
If only we could meet
that.
Prince Zelensky, the hero of our times.
Hey, look.
Time Man of the Year, 12 years running. Prince Zelensky. I'll never understand your affinity for Ukraine and all the Nazis and the Azov Battalion. I don't know. I'll never understand it. I'll never get it.
Well, honestly, look, I don't want to go into that because we'll get into an argument again. But freaking, let's just say I thought like you, but then I actually opened my eyes. I got mature and I looked at the world, saw it for what it is. And you realize that you do need some things like that. States are malignant and people are malignant. And that's about that. That's all I'll say about that.
Is that what Liz Cheney told you? Is that what Lizzie told you?
No, that's the actual truth. That's just the way it is.
What is that? What is that information? What is your information based on?
Reality.
No, you say reality. What's your source?
Source on what?
What is the agenda you know what? It's Christmas. We're going to do the Ukraine thing right here, right now. Okay. I'm going to have it out with you on Ukraine. And one of us is going to change our position here. We're going to battle this thing out. Okay. Until one of us is ultimately humiliated. And I'm telling you, it's going to be you. So let's do this. I'm tired of getting calls from you where all of a sudden you're going on and on about how wonderful and amazing Ukraine is and how we have to be supporting Ukraine.
Whoa.
First question I'm going to start with is this. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
You can call me a lot of things. No. You can call me a lot of things, but don't call me, one, don't ever call me late for dinner. And two, don't put words in my mouth. They don't taste good, and I don't know what bracha to say on them.
Okay. Let's stick with the matter at hand. Okay. You think we should be defending Ukraine?
Define defending.
Should we be investing financially in helping Ukraine overcome the invasion from Russia?
Yes.
To what point? What is the agenda? What is the end game?
The end game is that Russia pulls its forces out or they quit their invasion. Certainly at this point.
That's a win that Russia says we're leaving?
Yes, that's a win.
So,
for example, let me ask you.
How many decades should we do that? Afghanistan war was a long time.
Back when I was in Yeshiva, 2005, 2006, Libya and Israel got it on. Like, Libya, it was Lebanon got it on because Hezbollah got it on with Israel again. And there was like about a month or two of military operations happening there. Did Israel win that war? No, because Hezbollah was still there. They basically were made to stop. Israel lost. So that was an L for. So I'd say, yeah, to the point you support them to the point that Russia basically says we quit and they leave.
Why?
Why?
Why is
because an aggressive Russia is not in our interest.
Why?
Why? Because Russia is not an ally of the United States.
And Ukraine is.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
What makes them our enemy?
Russia?
Yeah, what makes Russia our enemy in 2024?
They have different values and interests, namely.
Really? Their values and interests. Yeah. I guarantee you right now.
They're not a Western. Joe, they're not a Western.
Every value. Just pause for a second. I'll point this out to you. If you list every value and interest you have, I guarantee you have a lot more in common with Vladimir Putin than you have with AOC.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, she's the same as Putin.
The guy from prison.
You have a lot more in common with her than you have with Hillary Clinton. With them than you have with Hillary Clinton. You have a lot more in common with him than you have with.
No, I don't. The enemy of your enemy. Look, the only difference between Vladimir Putin and Hillary Clinton, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, other than like the piping downstairs, it's also the fact that Vladimir Putin is basically a dictator and can rule with impunity in this country.
Okay.
If they had all the power Putin would have, they'd be the exact same person.
What about the leader of Somalia? What about the leader of Somalia? How do you feel about the leader of Somalia?
I don't think he's great either.
Well, what's his name?
Don't know, don't care.
Exactly. But somehow Russia is this big, massive concern of ours.
Yes.
Why?
Why?
Yes. Why?
Because they have oil.
We have to be friends with everyone. It's like, why can't we establish a business connection with people who might be, this guy might be personally a dark, evil person.
What makes you think we already don't?
We got business relationships with China for crying out loud. You think President Xi is a good person?
We already do.
You think, do you think Xi is a good person?
No, I don't.
So why don't we?
Fact,
Why don't we take up the Uyghurs? Let's take up the Uyghurs in China.
If I was the president of the United States, I'd have embargoed China. I'm not disagreeing with you on these specific on certain things that you're saying right here. However, what I am saying is that you can't just get along with everybody. If you could, then we wouldn't have wars. Like if this pantomime that everybody emotionally wants to believe was actually true, that we can just talk with people and just have these business decisions, then we wouldn't have combat and we wouldn't have war. We wouldn't have any of these issues. But we do.
What does that mean? That's just saying we have to have war because we've historically always had war. That's what you're. That's the logic of your argument. That's a logical fallacy.
Except that's the way that it is.
No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
No, that's the way that the world
We're not at war
works.
with China. Why? We're not at war with China. Why do we have to be at war with Russia?
Okay, give me a year in history that the United States. Give me a decade that the United States hasn't been involved in military operations.
What does that have to do with anything?
How come? Because the truth is that the history, not just of the United States, but of every country on planet Earth, is that they are more involved in war than they are in peace. Okay?
Why are we not at war with Japan?
War's the way the world works.
Well, we were at war with Germany also at one point. We were at war with Japan at one point also.
Yes.
Why? So why do we have a forever war? Why do we need a forever war with Russia? Just because we don't like the leader? Is that what your argument is? We always have to go to war, and we don't like this particular leader, and now he's being aggressive. So now we're going to just flex our muscle. This is the stupidest argument I've ever heard. This isn't even nothing you're saying is logical. Nothing you're saying makes any sense. We always have to have war, so let's go to war. We don't. He's a dictator, so let's go to war. He's being aggressive, so let's go to war. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Why do we have to stick our nose into every single country's business? Why is that our job? Is that our job forevermore?
Look, you're not being right now. You're yelling. You're emotional and you're passionate. You're not
Nothing you're saying is making sense.
You don't want. Can I talk now?
Go for it.
Man? Okay. Okay. Step back. The way the world works is that if you're not strong and if you're not impressing your will on others, nation states, they're going to impress it on you. Period. That's the way the world works. Nation states don't sit down and be peaceful. There are strong people, and the strong take over the weak. And that's the way it is. Whether or not you're in Africa, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in China, whether you're in America, the strong conquer the weak. That's the way the world works. If you don't have a strong enough government to defend yourself or to influence others in your interest, then other nations and other countries will do that to you. Period. It doesn't matter. You can look at any place in the world. If you think that you can just sit down and just say fuck the world and we'll just sit down and just be America. We got two oceans between us. There's this little event called World War II, which proves that we couldn't do that. Back in the 40s, there was this movement called the America First movement. World War I, they didn't want to fight. After World War I, nobody wanted a piece of Europe. We didn't want to fight. We figured it wasn't really that good. It wasn't a good war to actually get into. A lot of people died, millions of Europeans and thousands of Americans. And they were right too. It was a waste of a war. World War I didn't have to happen. It was bullshit, right? But we got dragged in, and we would have been dragged in later on anyway. I'm listening to I got this from Victor Davis Hanson. He was speaking about American generals in World War II. And he said basically there was this meeting where Hitler spoke to the Western Allied powers. It was mainly France and Britain and I think maybe I don't know who else, that were basically to the West after he'd invaded Poland. And they came at him and they said, hey, you can't do this, or it was after he invaded Austria. They said, hey, you can't do that. We're going to have basically don't do it or else. And they wagged their hands. And it's oh, we're not going to go further. This is just this thing. They made us do this. We're not going to go any further. I promise. Right?
No, you see, you're trying to. I gotta stop you here. You're trying to school me about history when you sound utterly ignorant about World War II history. The very thing you're trying to school me in, I'm going to tell you right now, because you're trying to make this analogy between Adolf and Putin, which is the lamest, laziest imaginable.
Mustache
that's the laziest analogy in the world. That is the laziest analogy. No. I let you talk for a solid 5 minutes. So I'm going to have my response to some of the factual inaccuracies that you just said. Adolf, what made him a threat to America was that he was establishing alliances and had a concept, a motivating concept for how he was going to serve as a dictator, which was motivated by a term called Lebensraum, which was German for living space, that the Aryan nation needs to have more and more living space because that's what the Aryan nation needs, which means that we need to take over and swallow up one country after another for Lebensraum. There is no similar concept that has ever been expressed by Putin in his life. So all these people who are sitting here saying, well, the next place he's going to is Poland, and then after that is Germany and France. He's going to be just like Adolf. He's going to keep swallowing up, and unless we show him right here and now that we're the ones to come in here, in that case, he's just going to keep on coming in. This is the ridiculous argument you're throwing at me. You're trying to compare him to Adolf, when Adolf, first and foremost, that's not as if the first country he swallowed up was Poland. No. He went to Austria beforehand. He started going into different nations, one nation after another. Poland was just that was the tipping point. That was not the first place he went to. That was like third on his list. I think he swallowed Czechoslovakia before Poland also. So he's swallowing up Europe, and then basically when he got to Poland, we're like, okay, this is it. That's the final line. So you're sitting here telling me that, well, now he's trying to take over the Donbas region. So obviously he's going to try and just take over the entire world. And America's next on the list, and he's a bully. And
why did he go to the Donbas region? Why did he go?
Why did who?
Why did he go into the Donbas region?
Because the arguments that he put forward, and I'll admit this, he lies. He lies. He doesn't. I don't trust him that he's telling the truth. I'm not someone who's sitting here saying, "Well, Putin said this, so this must be true." That's what historically is similar to all the people trying to appease for Adolf. But I'll tell you right now, the Donbas region is mostly Russian population. The Donbas region.
But why did he go in?
I just told you. I'm explaining it.
Yes, because his argument.
He labeled his argument. His argument is it's repatriation.
This is one thing that he's been very straight about when it comes to the Donbass region and to Ukraine, is that Ukraine was part of the Russian Empire hundreds of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's still there. They got screwed out of it 500 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he's taking it back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So first and foremost, you do realize he's an imperialist, right? Can we agree on that?
I'm not sure why you would think ascribing a certain label has significance.
Excuse me?
Why does it, whether I agree with you that he's an imperialist or not? Why
Well,
is that?
is he an imperialist or not? Meaning all the things, like he thinks like his country is an empire, and he wants to expand the empire.
No, I would not agree with you on that. I don't agree with you on that.
Then what is he? What's he doing?
Well, I mean, you think by attaching a label to him, all of a sudden that means that we.
No, I'm not just attaching a label to him. I'm saying that he thinks in this specific way. Therefore, I'm using this specific label to define his manner of thinking.
Okay, so if you were trying to establish his manner of thinking, and meanwhile, I mean, by the same argument as far as him being imperialist, you can say that Trump is an imperialist. You can make the exact same argument that he wants to take Greenland, Canada, and
I don't think I don't think he's serious. I don't think Trump's serious about Canada or Greenland.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't think he's that serious. I think that's him trolling.
So let's assume that he's motivated by imperialism, but that imperialism is rooted in historic Russian lands and peoples. What does that have to do with you or me?
There's nothing specifically to do with you or me.
Exactly.
But you or me are not of America.
Well, it only has something to do with you and me when we feel like, we have to show them that they can't be.
But Joe Neerman is not the United States of America.
What does that do with the United States of America? So what does that do with the United States of America? What does that do with France? If he decides he wants to take over Ukraine, what the hell does that do with France? What does that do with Germany? Was Germany ever? Is Germany populated with a significant Russian population that I'm unaware of?
No.
Was it
However,
once part of the greater empire of the USSR? No.
No.
So when his imperialism is a method to the madness, and his imperialism takes on the form of repatriation and taking back that which was historically Russian.
If you've been gone for 500
what does that
years,
have
you
to
don't
do?
have a fucking claim on your country. You don't have a claim on
Okay, what I'm saying is that's very different from Lebensraum, which basically means I need the entire world.
And by the way, if we weren't involved on the world stage, if we didn't have as much influence in the Middle East and in Asia and in Europe as we did, what do you think Putin would be doing? You think he wouldn't be doing that? You think he wouldn't have that ability? You wouldn't be following some mode?
You think he would have gone to Thailand?
Frankly,
would he be in Taiwan right now?
Excuse me. Okay? Vladimir Putin is the kind of person who thinks that the greatest tragedy of the 20th century is the fall of the Berlin Wall and the fall of the Soviet Union. Okay? Of all the tragedies that happened in the 20th century, from pick a genocide and pick a world war, the biggest one is the fall of the Soviet Union.
Who cares? Who cares?
This is the mindset of the person that you're dealing with.
So
and you're going
what?
Up to. You should care, because this is what
This is like I feel like I'm talking to a wall here. So what? What is the mindset? What is the mindset? What's the mindset of President Xi? Why don't we go to war with Xi to protect the Uyghurs?
What makes you think we're not at war with Xi?
Oh, I don't know. We're not. Are we funding the Uyghurs? And I missed that bill. Did I miss the bill? We were funding the Uyghurs.
Dude. Open your eyes. We are. Everybody, every nation is always at a state of war with every other nation.
Okay, this is just getting.
No. That's the way it is. War is one group of people enforcing their will on another, and every nation is doing that to every other group of people. That's why every nation has spies. That's why every nation does espionage.
Right.
That's why every nation has special operations and commandos. That way they can do it in secret.
Below. We've been at this for like a half hour. I can't. When you're saying that every nation's at war with each other, and you're comparing politics. You're comparing politics.
We're at war with China right now just because we haven't shot at them or they haven't shot at us. You got another thing coming. Like that's just not true.
Okay.
That's just not true.
Okay.
Okay, that's just absolutely not true, and I can say that I can say that with confidence.
You can say with confidence. It doesn't make any sense.
No, what doesn't make sense to me, and I didn't want to say this up until this point, is that you're just war worried from 20 years of Iraq and Afghanistan. And that's the only reason why you can't see anything straight. Because that's it. You're just
what was that?
War.
Because
you
what?
Started off this argument. No, excuse me. You started off this argument by yelling at me for about 5 to 7 minutes.
No.
You did. No, you did. Go back and listen. You did. You started off yelling at me for about 5 to 7 minutes about this because you don't think that I'm right.
You're
right? And then you're calling me illogical.
Wukong, I've been calm for the last 10 minutes. And
okay,
then you make your point. Yeah, because some of the stuff you were saying was what I thought was insane.
You're yelling. It tells me right
I thought
there.
It was insane.
It
was insane.
Logical.
No,
either.
I'm being thoroughly logical.
You're not thoroughly logical.
You're the one. You come in here. You come in here and give me this argument that every nation's at war with every other nation, and that's like that's such a fatuous. It's such a fatuous statement. It's such a fatuous statement.
Except it's not a fatuous statement.
Of course it is.
That's not a fatuous statement.
It's 100% a fatuous statement because to the extent there's any truth to what you're saying, it's irrelevant. So if what you were saying is true, that just by dint of the fact that my nation's interests are adverse to a different nation's interests, and that you want to label that as being at war, how the hell is that relevant to whether or not we're investing into killing another nation's soldiers? How is that?
My nation's interests are different than another nation's interests, and I am in actuality trying to push my own interests, and they are trying to push theirs. U.S. foreign policy is based off of the acronym. Think of the acronym as explained to me in a PME as DIME. DIME standing for 1, diplomatic, 2, intelligence, 3, military, and 4, economic. Okay? On all 4 phases, we're constantly pushing the American agenda or pushing the Western agenda. Okay? The people who disagree with us, they have different values and different goals, they're pushing against it. Every nation, in so much as it's in their interest, they're going to lie with us. And in so much as it's not, they're not. For example, an example of when they weren't in our interest and when they became in our interest. How many countries in Europe, after Trump won, said, hey, we're going to start buying American oil as opposed to continue to buy Russian oil, even when we're in a proxy war with the Russians? Did that lay it up? Did that come out clearly?
No, I have no idea. I lost you a while ago. I was like, you just want to hear.
At what point in time?
You want to hear yourself speak, and I'm going to give you the respect that I'm going to let you speak, and ask you to just wind it down and let's wrap this thing up.
Say again.
I'm going to ask you to wrap it up. Give me your final thoughts here, and then whatever. But yeah, this is you're There's no point that I'm making that you're actually even listening to. So
No, I've heard these arguments.
Because when you throw a fatuous statement at me saying that we're at war, that every nation is at war with everyone else, and I point out to you why that's fatuous. Listen, okay, I'm done. Now you're over talking. Now you're over talking. Now you're trying to just over talk me. So I don't know what the point is to that. When I make a point saying that it's a fatuous statement because of the fixation and the nature of the conversation we're having is the idea as to whether or not we should invest in helping one nation kill another nation's soldiers. And you come up with something saying every country is at war with every other country through dime, whether it's economic or military or diplomacy, they're still at war with each other. It's not even relevant to the conversation that we're having. It's like you're trying to win an argument rather than make a point.
That is not how this conversation went for the last half an hour.
I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
First you said, why should we help Ukraine? I said because Russia invaded them and we should help them defend and we should help them fight.
My question is, why are we investing in this war?
Why are we investing in this war?
Yes, that's what I asked
Russia
you.
is not an ally. They've invaded another nation.
And Ukraine's not an ally either.
Excuse me. No, they're not a full ally.
No,
they're not.
You were at war with them too. We're also at war with France and England and every other nation because every nation's at war with each other.
We're at war with every nation. It's an uncomfortable thing, but that's the truth. We are at war with them.
All right. Well, in that case, we should be helping arm the Irish so that they can overtake the UK.
No, wait. Do we have a CIA?
I don't understand how
we have a CIA, right? Yeah.
Right. I gotta get to the next call.
They have an MI6. You think that MI6 isn't spying on the U.S. and the United States and on U.S. government?
I don't know, and I don't care, and I don't see.
Okay, yeah, no, you don't.
I don't see how any of this is relevant. How is it relevant to the fact that we're sending hundreds of billions to Ukraine? What is the relevance at all? That's why I'm saying you're not trying to prove a point. You're trying to win an argument, and I'm not interested in that. So my audience is screaming for me to hang up on you. They're screaming. You know what they're like.
Yeah, I know. Because quite frankly, look. Well, I said I didn't want to get into this tonight, but freaking look.
It's good.
It's
good. Sleep it off. Get some.
I'm not going to sleep it off at all. I'm going to go off and do my own thing. But look, Joe, this just isn't the way.
I'm giving you 30 seconds. I'm giving you 30 seconds. I'm not going to respond. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to make your final point, and then I'm going to go. Okay.
Okay. War is human. It makes people are affected by it through their emotions. Okay. Freaking as war goes on for a period of time, it makes people fucking tired. All right? Freaking, that's exactly what's happened to the American populace, which is why we're here right now. Okay? And that's affected you and your audience. They don't want to admit that sometimes you're going to have to get your hands dirty or help people out who aren't savory. Because the only other way to do that would be just to nuke everybody, and that's not us.
Every war we've been in since World War II has been about American economics and no other point whatsoever. Since World War II, Korean War, Vietnamese War, the both Gulf Wars, every conflict we've been embroiled in since World War II has not been about national security. It's been about American economics. Every single one, every one of them. So that's why my people that you, as you say in my in the chat here, that's why we're tired of these stupid wars.
Okay. And you wouldn't feel that way if we didn't have the longest war in U.S. history in Afghanistan.
All right. Gotta go. I gave you the 30 seconds. I gotta go, brother. I gotta go.
We're gonna pull back for a second. Bye. Bye.
Take care, brother.
All right. Take care.
Are you going to talk about the Lions? Are you going to talk about Ukraine? Or what's it going to be?
I was just going to say, how about them Lions, just to make you laugh. Have a Freilichen
Guys in
Hanukkah.
depth. Have a Freilichen Hanukkah as well. Take care, brother.
well.
Have a good night. Oh, that's funny. That was nice and to the point. That was pretty good. I like it. Woo. Whew. Who did I miss a call from? I'm going to call you back. It's 804 area code. Call me a couple of times. I missed. Where is this?
Call from
James X.
Jane X. Is that what? Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
You.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm never better. What about you?
Yeah.
I had some chats that came in
I'm
that I
doing-
didn't get to while I was yelling with this guy. So let me get to them. Please shut him up. I'm way back in the chat, but for chat music, Alex Jones folk song, Alex Jones rants as an indie folk song on YouTube. Yeah, I think I played that. I definitely have played that before. I'm pretty sure I got copyright hit on it when I did. Joe, you're not signed to be an alternative ed teacher. Merry Thank you, Kelly. Merry Christmas. As a Canadian, if the USA wants Canada, they would add 10 more states and 3 territories. You can invade us. We only have 22,000 troops. That would be funny. It wouldn't be pretty, but USSR, Napoleon, France, British Empire, Mongol Empire, Alexander's Greece, Spanish Empire, Roman Empire. Not a lot of war limitation. Maybe not a prudent move. Maybe something for us to think about. I'm not sure what you're trying to get at here, little Baloo. USSR, Napoleon's France, British Empire, Mongol Empire, Alexander's Greece, Spanish Empire, Roman Empire. Not a lot of war limitations. Limitation money? Is that? I don't know if the money sound was intentional. Maybe not a prudent move. Maybe something for us to think about. I'm kind of, yeah. You're talking to Mr. Haha from the pizza parlor, and he won too many games of skee ball. I don't know what that means either. All right, Alex, what's on your mind, brother?
Oh, this is Jane.
I'm sorry, Jane. I don't know why I thought your name was Alex, but go ahead.
Oh, no, I was thinking about Canada being a state of ours.
Yes.
It would be real interesting because first they'd have to have a constitution that was legal with our federal constitution, and that would change their laws. That would change the way their judges think. I mean, it would change their whole government. And
it would never work. It would never.
I know it would never work. I know it would never work. That's the whole thing. You know, that the Canadian gentleman you were talking to earlier, he was talking about, you know, owning a gun or machine gun or whatever.
That was Runkle the Bailey. He's got a channel that's like almost 3 times my size. It might even be 3 times my size. And that's why I was like, I don't understand how you're not making a living from this, because I'm making a living from my channel that's 1/3 his size. I was like, I can't believe you have to actually go work as a lawyer in order to survive. Like they want to get hired by a firm. Now, if you tell me you want to work for Good Lawgic LLC, and I would bring you on here, that I can do that with you. I can work that out with you and help get you your work visa that way. If the whole thing's about a work visa, then there's lots of ways you do it. You don't need to be working for a law firm, though. So, but
I think it's their food prices added with their tax.
Yeah, their taxes are insane. Their taxes are really insane. So,
and we complain about ours, but
yeah, no, they have a separate tax for their healthcare, and their healthcare is the worst in the world. And I think they're paying, I don't know, like they have a sliding scale depending on how many family members you have. But like it starts at like $15,000 a year just for the health part of your tax bill. They're completely a socialized country. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I had a friend that was Canadian, and him and his wife, they would actually come to America and go to the doctors here because they could get treated a whole lot faster, but they had the means to do it. And it was just more convenient, and it was easier, and it was, they said, better medicine. You know, I don't know. But that's what they told me.
I personally
I've
believe
never-
that America is the best medicine in the world. And
I
mean,
I agree with that.
I mean, the only time I even had a question about that was in 2020. But if anyone who needs a specialist, they seem to come here. Either here or they go to some clinic in Switzerland. So maybe Switzerland has some sort of awesome thing going on there. But yeah, they seem to
Only
come
thing
here.
I'm gonna recommend to you and your listeners, if you go overseas, buy the insurance for the medical when
Why?
you travel.
Why?
Because some countries, it's when you set up your
provider, from your provider.
You can get it from your provider. You used to be able to get it from the AAA company, and there's a few other companies that would give you travel insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because in some countries won't let you leave if you have an outstanding bill. And if you had to go to the emergency room, it's better. I don't know what it costs today because I haven't traveled in a few years, but it was like $200. And that way you're covered over there if something does happen, and you don't have to worry about it.
Awesome. I appreciate the thought. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Jane.
Oh, one other thing about traveling.
Yep.
Let your credit card companies know that you're going to be in a different country. Otherwise, they'll cut you off after your first or your second purchase.
That's another phenomenal point. I'm actually making a real mental note of what you're saying here because I'm supposed to be going to Israel at the end of next month. That's a good time for me to let you all know that I'm going to be taking a week off at the end of January. So, yeah, I'm going to be. I don't know if I'm taking a week off. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to stream from Israel, but I'm going to be in Israel in late January, visiting my son there. So, anyway.
Well, then I was the right call at the right time.
You were
little things I can. Well, you have a good day, sir.
You too, my friend. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Night. Ramalan says he should go. What did he say here? He should go fight for Ukraine. He said that. Ramalan sent that twice. So I think he really means it. Let me see where my poll is at here. Where is my poll at? I know I had a poll up. 84% of you want me to do this Make Joe Laugh episode. All right, that's going to happen. All right. So now I know what I'm doing New Year's. Take one more.
Call from
Malcolm.
This is comedian Malcolm.
Yep, this is the one.
How you doing, brother?
I'm okay. It's been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster this Christmas, and I've been sick, so it was bad timing on everything.
Your picture, is that Owen Wilson with laser eyes?
No, that's me with laser eyes. It's me at a wedding in 2017.
Really?
Yeah, I was a lot skinnier at that point, but yeah, it's me with laser eyes. I had the photo without laser eyes too.
Oh, cool. I'm pulling up one of your super chats here so everyone can see. Cool. Awesome. I thought that was like stolen from like the Wedding Singer or something. So not the Wedding Singer, the former.
Oh no. I had a really
the Wedding Crashers. Yeah. So
I had a really nice suit at that wedding. It was Indochino.
How you doing, brother?
I'm okay. I was calling mostly to talk about the Canada stuff. No,
go for it.
But yeah,
don't let the Ukraine diversion take you off your game.
Oh no, I don't want to talk about Ukraine. I mean,
Neither do I.
That sounds like a quagmire of a conversation.
Yes, quite so. So, what are your thoughts about us taking on? What part of Canada are you from?
I'm from Toronto.
Ah, Toronto. I've been to Toronto. Not in many.
Yeah, the heart, the belly of the beast.
Yes. Yeah. No, Toronto actually has a big Orthodox Jewish community. So.
Yeah, no, I know. Both my brothers work at the Jewish funeral home. we're my family's not Jewish, but they both work at this funeral home.
Decent.
Yeah, no, I got the Hanukkah cards for
Nice.
instead of Christmas cards this year because
Nice.
I thought that they'd appreciate it because Hanukkah is on the 25th. It's so random. I guess it's the calendar, right? Because it shifts.
Yeah, it shifts every. I was explaining a little bit about the calendar last night at my locals. I spent a long time last night in locals talking about constellations and fortune telling and the whole thing as far as seeing the stars. And I got into the lunar calendar. So the way we work with a lunar calendar, which a lunar calendar is 354 days instead of 365 days. But because we want our seasons to come out and not move up. Okay, so basically what that means is this year, the first day of Hanukkah comes out on December 25th. Next year, without even looking at the calendar, I can tell you the first day of Hanukkah will be December 14th because the lunar calendar will be 11 days shorter. So you see what I'm saying? So, and the year after that, it'll be December 3rd will be the first day. And then the year after that, we're going to have
nice, my birthday.
And then the year after that, we're going to have a leap year, which means when we have a leap year, we add a month. And a month is 29 and a half days. So what that means is instead of moving back 11 days, we'll move forward 18 days. And that's why the year after that, after going to December 3rd, it'll become December 21st. So
okay. I see. So that way it always stays in December.
Yeah. So just that it happens to fall this year on December 25th. That happens once every 19 years or so, but it doesn't, or less than that. But, because sometimes it changes by like a day or so. So I'm giving you rough estimates because there's half days and it gets a little confusing in ways that you don't really, most folks don't even want to be bothered hearing. So I won't bother my audience with that. But this is an unusual thing the way it fell out. This is one of the latest that Hanukkah ever falls out. There's like sometimes it's like the earliest I've ever seen it fall out is Thanksgiving. Which that was weird.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's super early.
Yeah, that was a very early Hanukkah year. Anyway, so you said you were sick though. You okay?
Yeah, I got like I don't know if it was like the flu or whatever, but like it just doesn't. I got it like a week and a half ago, and it just won't go away.
You still have
stomach problems. I don't want to go into too many details. Yeah, I know. I still do have it now. I was in the bathroom for most of that call with the Ukraine stuff.
Oh my gosh. Oh god.
Yeah, it's just bad timing because like I got the baby. He's 15 months old, and I feel bad because it's putting a lot of pressure on his mother to pick up the slack while it's Christmas, just because everybody's getting together. And
so you have one kid?
I have one kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. He's 15 months.
Okay. Are you married?
No. Technically,
I'm not passing judgment. I'm just wondering like what your situation is. So.
Technically I'm single. We don't live together for various reasons, but we're still I love his mother. It's just that right now we don't live together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Like we did the get together for Christmas. It was pretty good. He had a good time. He's 15 months, so he's kind of like not really aware of the context of what's happening, and it's not like gifts don't excite him. Like he could have had no gifts and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
because
15 months.
He doesn't.
Yeah, 15 months. They can't conceptualize seasons, holidays. If anything, they'll just mimic, like they'll ape, like so. If like you get excited about their birthday party, so they'll be excited, but they have no idea that it's a birthday. They just see people around them are excited, so they get excited, but they don't conceptualize.
There are things that he gets excited about, but it's more of like if there's like something on TV that's like a sing along, that's a kids thing, sometimes he'll dance to that, but like it's not. He doesn't care about like a box with a present in it.
Right.
You know, we got him to rip open stuff, but like he doesn't really care.
It's fun for a year-old kid to rip stuff open. Yeah. But by next year he'll appreciate a gift. Then he'll understand a gift.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's hard to. You never know, right? But like, yeah, I'm assuming next year he'll be much more on board with it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But yeah.
And by the time he's 3, it's gonna be mandatory, because then he'll start seeing other people are getting. He'll see that presents are associated with Christmas and birthdays and stuff.
Yeah. The social contagion aspect of it with kids.
Mm-hmm. But he's too young to have social contagion at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything else on your mind, brother? Besides, so you think if we brought on Canada, you think that would be an utter disaster for us, like I've been saying, or you think that it would?
It would depend how you did it. If they became a state, it would probably be bad, but it would depend how they partitioned everything. Because the assumption, if it was just one state, one ginormous state, then yeah, it would be bad, because it would just be another California. But it's hard to say whether, if that happened, if they wanted to make them states, not just territories, it would be unclear whether you would keep the old provincial partitions. Mm-hmm. And I think, I can't remember if it was you or Kurt earlier, somebody was saying that they knew people in Canada, and they said that they're very, very, like, they're all very, very left wing. It is true on average, but it's skewed by the cities. So it's like California, if you go outside of the cities, in Ontario at least, Quebec is probably a little different, because they're a very different, it's like a different country. But in Ontario, if you go outside of Toronto, it's very blue. Like the blue here is conservative. Our colors are swapped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I actually saw this video recently, which was explaining how humans are not really meant to live in cities, and they are by design, without anyone trying to do it. Just by the nature of the interaction you have when you're living in a city, it's more isolating. It's very isolating if it's a real city. I mean, like with a million people or so, it's very isolating. There's actually more loneliness, because you're incapable of developing connections with people, and we are social creatures. So there's a certain irony that if you're around too many creatures, that it actually ends up destroying your social life, because you it's funny. I grew up in a neighborhood in Queens. So I grew up in an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood where everyone knows everyone, and there's like 300 families, and that's it. My wife grew up in Borough Park, which is densely populated with thousands of Orthodox Jews, and tens of thousands, maybe even 100,000. I don't know. So she literally, I would know every Jew in my community. She literally didn't know most people who lived on her block, because there's just, you can't say hello to everyone, because you'd just be saying hello the entire time. You're not forming a connection with anyone. So that's the point that I'm getting at, is when you're living in a city, it's not it's difficult to share actual experiences with people, and your connection with society feels very disjointed, and it feels very empty, because it's just hellos, and it's not like you're actually really connecting with other humans, and you just end up feeling far more isolated and not part of a real community. So that's why in business, that's why people end up having their work friends. No one has friends on the block in cities. It's very rare. If you live in a suburb, sure, but if you live in a city, you're much less. You'll have one person who's a friend on the block, but it's like most people. It's not like you're friends. look, if you move into a community which happens to be a community which is geared towards this is, a certain type of community, then it's possible. But for the most part, when you're living in a city, that's just not the nature of how society exists. And it's also a place that's a meeting place for different ideas and thoughts and development rather than sharing of values. So the values end up becoming very detached from any sort of established. It's much more capable of moving towards a very unhealthy type of thing, because you're losing your connection to anything that's rooted in, let's say, a religious perspective or an established set of mores, because that's just not part of what the agenda of living in a city is. Anyway, there's a lot more, but yeah.
I'd say that's true in some spots, but I don't think that that's like a uniformly true thing for cities. I lived in cities in Toronto my whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some neighborhoods I've lived in, it's been everybody knows everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a community aspect to it. And then some neighborhoods I've lived in, you don't really, everybody's sort of distrustful of their neighbors, and it's like there's not really much cohesion there. It mostly varies by neighborhood, because like some neighborhoods there's like a million people with kids, right? And so like they all know each other because their kids know each other and whatnot.
Right. Okay. Fine. That's a shared experience that you're having with them. But I'll ask you this: the places that I've seen that people are more likely to have social connection is when the housing is more spaced out in a city. That's what I'm saying. A suburb is a little bit different than it is when you're living in a
Oh, I've never lived in the suburbs. I've always lived in the downtown core.
Really? And you found
in the core.
And you found in cities that you were able to that there's like groups that are based upon their living, like where they're living, as far as establishing deep connections, rather than the fact that you have kids and I have a kid and you live 4 blocks away from me, and even though I'm going to pass 7,000 people, but between my house and your house, I'm going to go to you because you have a kid who's the same age as my kid.
Well, like on my street, there isn't 7,000 people. My street it's just all houses on the street that I live on. A lot of people do know each other on my street. We just moved in maybe like almost 2 years ago now. So like me and the baby. So
yeah, but that's more.
The baby makes sense when I moved there.
That's a suburban element to a city. When I'm thinking city, I'm thinking a row of apartment buildings.
Well, I've lived when I was growing up. I lived in a co-op, it's like basically an apartment where the residents of the apartment own a stake of the property, and so it's a little different than like a apartment row house in like, I don't know, New York City or something. Like in many apartment buildings there is that lack of community. You don't really know everybody, and you don't like talk to anybody, and you can sort of keep your head down. But with co-ops, everybody they own a stake, right? So it's you have to go to all these board meetings and stuff.
So there, the shared interest is the building itself. That's not really
or the property that covers not just the building, but like also townhouses and stuff. It's sort of like a mini village in the city.
Mm-hmm. J13 IRD is saying cities tend to make people more dependent because everything is provided, which makes you more liberal. Living rural makes you more self-sufficient and therefore more conservative, more of a meritocracy. It's an interesting point.
I'd say that there's definitely an argument about that. Like, I'm not going to say cities don't liberalize people versus living in rural areas. That's why I was saying, like, if you go outside of Toronto, it's very much a different story than if you stay in Toronto.
Right.
And I know many provinces are the same, except for maybe Quebec, just because they're like a special case because the culture is so different. It's like, it's actually a different culture, right?
Yeah.
It's going there is like going to an alternate universe, because like all the street and road signs are the same make, but like everything's in French, and like the rules are slightly different. And
yeah. All right, Bob.
yeah,
I'm gonna start landing my plane here. So
yeah, I'm gonna let you go.
I hope you feel better.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Next time I'll tell you about the drama that happened. It was crazy drama with my family. We almost had to cancel Christmas.
Now you piqued my interest.
Yeah, not because of the sickness, although like that, I went anyway with the sickness. No,
Wait,
some
what?
guy,
No,
my.
okay, now you have to tell me that story. Give me that story real quick.
Okay. It's been it's on ice right now. So some guy, my brother went out on one date with some lady, and her stalker ex-husband put like a tracking device or some shit in her car, and so he had he had my parents' address because he lives with my parents, and the I don't know, the guy, this was like a long time ago, it was more than a year ago, but the guy apparently threatened to come kill my brother with a gun. And so the police, I showed up at my parents' house, and my dad's like, "Oh, is that you in the driveway?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he says, "Oh, the police are here." And I say, What do you mean the police are here? Why are the police here? And he says, "Oh, well, just come in." And so I went in. They said that there was a credible threat on my brother, and everybody had to move to a hotel for an undisclosed amount of time till they caught the guy. But like, you know, like they're not going to catch him the next day, right? Like what's the likelihood of that? But they all had to go to the hotel, which was a big pain in the ass. And then they were, when the cops the next day told them, "Well, we haven't caught the guy yet, but you should go home and take precautions." But my parents are elderly, right? And like they don't have the best setup for home security. So it was just like the next day they were like, it was pure chaos. Everybody was super paranoid and like infighting. Just total chaos. And then they did catch the guy the day after, but then they let him go. They took the gun or whatever and they charged him, and then they let him go. And it's like, I really hope that they like checked his apartment or something for other guns, because it's just like, they just let him go. I don't get how, like, I'm sure that there are similar cases in the States, but like, I was shocked that law enforcement would just immediately let somebody go. They said it was credible threat. We didn't call them. We didn't know anything about this till the cops came.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so it was glad that they caught him though, because my parents, they put them at ease, and then we were able to have Christmas again. I was really worried because, like, yeah.
Wow. I'm glad everything worked out in the end, sort of. Sounds like it all
worked out. Yeah. Sort of. Well, I hope that nothing happens, but you know, it's the uncertainty now. But my parents don't. They're just going to get a security system.
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea. All right, my brother.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go.
Merry Christmas.
Play Ace Attorney.
And
all right.
Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney. You're the guy who's always on that. Okay. Yes, fine. All right. God willing.
All right, Joe.
Take care, brother.
Happy Hanukkah.
Merry Christmas. All right, I'm going to land my plane over here. It's time. I thought it was going to be a short show tonight, and I'm almost at 3 hours. Lab meat, they, them, bugs, no. I hope your holidays are amazing. You should enjoy your vacation time. Those of you who still have vacation time, God willing, I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be more news. Hopefully, some good news. Good news is good. Good news is good. That's all I got. I'm good, Lawgic. You're not. But that doesn't mean that you're not, special, because you are quite special. Have a good night, and as always, Godspeed and happy holidays. Oh, wait. I missed one thing. Almost missed it. EMAG said if one good thing about adding a bunch of new states, like 11 of them, the reason for Trump to add a few more SCOTUS judges. I don't know that it works that way. Could be. I just don't know that it really works. I don't think it works that way. And Ramalon says, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Godspeed. What are you doing? In my opinion, cities have become factory farms of humans. They provide just enough amenities and distractions to keep people happy while milking the tax dollars from them. I'm going to give you one of these just because I'm getting on out of here. But I agree with everything he wrote. So I'm going to leave this as I'm closing out here. I already said goodnight, and I already said Godspeed, but I can say it again. Godspeed.